Not understanding why this is like this. Thanks for the redeems, Tassa. Hope your weekend's going well so far. Appreciate the lurk, Nin. Putting honey in my drinks? No, I've only really had water, to be honest, today. Give me 1 second. I miscalced. I'm kind of hungry. Let me grab a snack. Alrighty. Eye patch arc. Yeah, before we figured out what was going on with my eyes. My brain. Good times, said nobody ever. Alrighty then, Gooners Hicks. How's everybody doing today? We're doing okay? I hope so. I hope we're all well. Be real sad if you weren't. Spooky. What's spooky? Shit tastes like ass. Glowing Skittle eyes is diabolical. I want you to know that. Doing pretty good. That's good. I'm happy to hear that. Happy Saturday and weekend to y'all. Anybody do anything fun today? Saturdays are usually like the day that I do like fun stuff, and Sundays are usually like the day where I vibe out. Not that I vibed out multiple Sundays in a row, but you know, you catch my drift. There you get what I'm saying. Anybody do anything good today? Committing pumpkin pie related crimes. What does that mean? That I tortured Nim? What are you talking about? They could have backed out at any time. For real, for real. My day was interesting today. My mom bought her grandchildren like a pass to activity center for a year, like $50 for the year, and we went to that today, and kids ran around, had a good time, which was nice. They had a fucking Tiamat statue that blew fire out of one head and like spewed water out of others, so it was pretty neat. Took a picture of my offspring in front of that. I have like a history museum of gaming and other things in there. It's a good little place. That's what I did today. Mostly on top of sleep because I couldn't wake up to save my life. I just really quick before I get too deep into anything, want to talk about next week's schedule. Also, the art for on the schedule is by Icy Artsy, and it's of Napta and me from a while ago. But it's the week of the 8th through the 14th. On Monday, we're going to do our Discord submission reviews, so that won't be anything different. And then, depending on how long that takes, we'll do something after. Tuesday, I might be starting late, or I might just have to take the whole day off. I'm going to be doing a vibe sesh at 9 p.m. EST with somebody. That'll take probably like an hour or so. Then after we're done with that, I'm going to be doing a watch along in Cam's server. So if I stream at all, probably be like an hour, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll see. And then Wednesday, I have to take off because I'm going to be spending the day with Astra. So we're just going to be doing our own thing on the 10th. I don't know what we're doing. Probably just hanging out at home. So that's what we'll do there. And then dinner. We're kind of limited on what we can actually do right now. So, I don't know. Probably make her something nice for dinner and rub her feet, you know. That's all I really got. Thursday, I'm going to be doing a Rabbit and Steel collab with Cam. I'm assuming the Rabbit and Steel portion is going to be like 2 hours, because people usually peter out around that mark. And then we'll either end there, depending on how Cam's feeling, or we'll maybe do something afterwards. I'm not really sure. Friday, we got the watch along for Durin. Gurren Lagann at the end after stream, and then we're doing the other part of what subs voted for this week on that Friday. Just because I can't play Trails right now. I'm a little beat. And you shoot me a message around 10 p.m.-ish, or you know. So yeah, that's gonna be Friday. Nothing too crazy there. And then so I'm hoping to get through the rest of the prologue demo, or at least most of it, on Friday. And then Saturday, we're gonna do some tier slop, some good old-fashioned tier slop. We're gonna do pros and cons of being each type of kimono. I might also do the pros and cons of dating each type of kimono. I'm not really sure. I might save that for another day. But yeah, we'll do that and then we'll play some games. Probably like, oh, I don't know. Probably Guilty Gear or I don't know. We'll play something, that's for sure. And then Sunday comes fast. It's the Innocent Soul tournament. We're doing it a week early because a week later, when we normally do it on the 20th, is my anniversary with Astra. So we're doing it a week early because I can't do it on. I did this backwards. The tournament is on Saturday, I think, not Sunday. Sunday's the collab. I apologize. Let me just confuse things because I'm sick and stupid. I'm pretty sure I did this backwards. Yeah, September 13th. Yeah, so the tournament's on September 13th, not 14th. I knew I did something wrong. If we do wind up being able to do the tier swap, it'll be on Sunday, but I doubt it because we have the Pokemon collab on Sunday with Hope and Cam. And if that falls through, I'm sure we'll find something else to do. We always do, so it'll be fine. But yeah, that's the plan for the week. Odd having essentially 2 days off, because I doubt I'll be able to stream on Tuesday, but if I can, I will. But super weird to only stream for 5 days in a week, and like literally it's literally events and collabs every single day except for Friday, which is the subs voted for thing, kind of like a normal day. The rest of it's all events and collabs. So definitely a strange week, but that's kind of the story of September. It's a weird little week. A weird little week. Yeah, September's a week, by the way, not a month. So anyways, I'm looking forward to next week. It should be a good time. I need to quickly update something in the Skelly for Lucky Days before I forget. Should I change this off of just chatting? To like, I don't know. Just chatting's probably fine. My muscles hurt. I should really take some, what other option is there? Hi, Nia. So there's just chatting, there's co-work, co-study and co-work. There's like a co-work one. I can't remember. Every time I try to look it up, I always get very confused. Co-working and studying. There's that. There's writing and reading. And then there's also art when I switch over to art, right? And then just chatting. Technically, this could be considered it's not really a special event, so. But it's like just chatting, co-working and studying, and then writing and reading, and then later if I do art, it'd be art. How's your Saturday been? Yeah. Oh my goodness. The pro gamer cat girl's here. Heather's always busy. You got multiple birthdays in the fam, including your own. Yeah. It's funny because like most of my family's birthdays are in September too, because everybody's fucking in December and January. You know what I'm saying? They're all kind of getting pumped. You missed these? Welcome, Nimadj. Appreciate you being here. Are you not a Banifator anymore? Wait, what? No, you are. So this is the Caster Labs chat, so I can see like YouTube and the fuck? So I can see YouTube and Twitch. I'm really sorry. My brain is omega chonked today. I'm having a really hard time. Yeah, you can't see Nim's message. I know. I don't know why you can't see Nimadj. Let me see. Hold on. Makes no sense. Let me see if this fixes it. I mean, it's the same thing. I don't. Saturday's been mostly alright, just jamming. We love a good jam sesh. What about me? Saturday's been fine. I'm a little sick and not feeling the best, but oh, that's why. That's why. I don't know, that was off for some reason. But we went and did something fun today, so I can't like really complain. Grandma of my offspring, my mother, gifted my offspring like a membership to something for a year, and we went to go do that today, which is super nice. You hope Nim is doing well? Me too. Krma, my offspring is crazy. I mean, what do you want me to call her? My mom? That's who it is, but the gift was for, you know, my offspring, so I just feel like that's more appropriate, if you will. Hold on, chat, I'm sorry. I also, if I get distracted and I'm doing something on the side, it's because I have the Digimon thing going on. So I'm also like getting last minute deck lists. Thank you for yes, you can. Oh my god, every time I go to type the :3 face, my little cat smiley face, lately I've been doing :sharp, because we use sharp for some things for the coding class, and it looks like a kissing face, and I'm like, dog, like a kissing or a censored cussing face, like I'm cussing someone out. So depending on the context, it can be really awkward. And I'm not trying to smooch on anybody, I promise. I'm not really trying to cuss you out either, I promise. I don't know, chat. Maybe fuck you guys, actually. Yeah, fuck chat. I don't even know you. Why are you here? Jokes aside though, There was something I wanted to show you guys and I forgot. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, I gotta show chat this today, and I don't fucking remember what it was. I need to find Taiga's character page for all strangers caught in the net. You just call us fucking fish? Listen, I want to be a fish. Can I be a cute little shark? Not like a scary one, but like a cute little pink and black one or something. I don't know. Taiga out here writing a book just for their character page. Thank you, Tasso. Does make my life easier. Time strangers. Kill yourself, please. No, you're actually so right. We're time strangers. Either a fish or Digimon. True. I'd rather be... Kind of rather be... If I was a Digimon... What's a Digimon that's like constantly never part of the main plot and is just chilling? Like they don't have to go through anything. That's what I would want to be. I'm trying to think. Chumon? Alright. Mods tap their knees. Granted, it's also a Chumon. Yeah, that's crazy. Where do I put this? I'm gonna put this under powers and stats. Bubble average mono levels. This is attributed to Linters. Mana burning properties while Taiga was in the blue. Why is this green? You know what? I don't know. That's not my problem. Oh, it's because I searched the word Taiga. I see. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Mana draining properties. Did I miss this somewhere? Mana draining. I see. Could not control, comma. can with tech? Question mark. I gotta come back to this because I have a working thing that specific craftsmith can make something to slow this or make it intentional or not. Have a good night, Nin. Thanks for swinging by. I appreciate you saying hi. Best of luck with your early morning that's coming. It's coming for you. Whenever I say something's coming for you now, just know that I mean it in like it's like chasing after you type way, or it's approaching, but I still have that innuendo in the back of my mind, which is very funny. Because I'm simply not mature enough to be on the internet. Which is truly a travesty. Thank you, you're gonna need it? Well, that doesn't sound good. If you need to DM me for any reason to yap about it or yell into the void, if it's serious, feel free to do so. And if it's not serious, feel free to do that. Okay, bye. Alright, so let's quickly discuss, because I was a bad writer, and while I did a lot of like really good character establishing things, I failed to do a few things for Lucky, which is not great. So the big one is essentially showing a bit better some work ethic stuff. And I don't want to like go super heavy on the I have a goal, work hard to it right off the bat, because not really supposed to get that until a certain story event happens that's going to happen here shortly. But like with the magic thing, and when Jamie teaches her how to kind of like rebuild control of what she's got access to, I should have shown that a bit more. So I would like to do that. And then I think I would like to have, you know how I've been doing like the 5 stars in between sections in a chapter, where I'll like do like 5 stars and then write something different where it's like a shift, but it's not really a different chapter. It's just like, you know, maybe later in the day or a different point of view from like a different group or whatever it is. I want to do that and apply it to some interactions with Lucky and other characters, because there's stuff that happens like quote unquote off, quote unquote, what I say that, quote off screen, end quote, and I'd like to remove some of that off-screen shenanigans. They don't need to be like particularly long, but I want these interactions to happen and to be shown, because while it makes sense for Lucky and some characters to grow closer or to know more about each other over time, even though we can't see everything, I think there's a way in which I can deliver something concrete to the reader without it being like main story stuff, you know what I mean? Because like there's the obvious thing of like, you know, Lucky going on a quest with Holly and Taiga, therefore those 3 are able to have a chemistry that begins. But Lucky show, you know, and I also had Lucky show early on that she was essentially envious of Team Decima for having a party to go adventuring with, and Lucky wanted to, you know, have something like that at some point. But there could also be like interactions where, let's say, Holly comes up to the desk to order or something, and the team's with her, and Lucky shows interest, you know, and asks questions like, oh, where are you guys going today? Oh, that sounds difficult or exciting or whatever it is. Thank you for the hot pets. And while it seems like a very surface level conversation, because Lucky is in a position where she's supposed to be friendly, I can add like you know, her clenching, balling her fists, or like, you know, scrunching her dress or whatever it is, to show that like maybe there's more to it than that. So there's things that I can do there. And it's not even just with like Team Decima, right? There's like other interactions with characters she should be having, because there's going to be, it's like, yeah, it makes sense that she's getting closer with people that have an association with the guild and that come into the cafe portion of the guild, because she is literally at the front desk pretty much all the time, right? So it makes sense that she would have relationships and begin to learn more and more about random people over time. Which really made you watch 2 3-minute ads in a row? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. The fuck? I'm sorry. Did you like did your like connection die or something? Nar? Oh, I'm sorry, Chip. That's annoying. Oh man, what the fuck did I just do? It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be trying this for a little while, unfortunately. The if it happens again, let me know. Probably won't make it today. Okay, then we'll postpone it. Thanks for the heads up. Display capture. This is the XP BG. But yeah, so essentially what I'm getting at is there's opportunities where I could have put just a little extra, you know, paragraph or 2 here, paragraph or 2 there, and it could give extra or additional context to interactions in the future. And I think that would be both good for the reader and the story overall, as just as a thing in general, which is neat, of course. So there's that. So there's like the 2 things there, like 1, showing the hard work part, and 2, showing interactions a bit better that aren't as necessarily imperative, I guess, or pressing. As far as the hard work thing goes, all I really want to do is, after Jamie gets in touch with or shows Lucky like the training regimen, you know, just have her like at the end of the night when they're gonna go watch the fucking, I know, Onko or something, the streamer, right? Instead of having them just yap or whatever, maybe like throw in a line or 2 where Lucky's like, oh, I'm so tired, this training's kicking my ass, and Jamie's like, well, you could slow down, blah 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 blah, and then Lucky like basically throws her butt. She's like, no, I need to see this through, da 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 da, kind of thing, you know. And I think that would make a lot of sense, and it would add validity to the growth rate, as well as, you know, people kind of understanding as time goes on that, like, obviously we know Lucky's not super normal because she fell from the sky onto the planet. She's got these like weird power sets, so the growth rate kind of makes sense, and what people were saying around her also adds to that validity. So I've done most of the groundwork, but I can do better is what I'm getting at. So there's like those 2 things. And then I think the reason I haven't been wanting to write as much, or not even that I haven't been wanting to write, because I do want to write, but the reason that I've been like procrastinating and holding back is because I've been having second thoughts and doubts about the ending of Lucky Days 2. So I would like to take the opportunity for us to just really quickly read the ending of Lucky Days 2. I say really quickly, but it's going to be a minute. And the reason for this is because this essentially what it leads into, like, this is how it was planned originally, and it makes sense for the route that I'm going. But I also feel like I don't really want to do this to the characters, especially right now. I kind of want the initial plan that happens to fail, and then have Luminaire have a rego, do it again. So that's like A. B, I feel like pacing wise, we literally just went like, I feel like so far the story's been a lot of like bam 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 bam, And there's gonna come a point in time where a lot of like the big plot stuff kind of levels out, and it's just more like mini adventures back to back to back. And to prepare, like, it makes sense because I'm doing Lucky's like main arc, right? I'm doing the buildup of things that need to happen for Lucky to essentially be free. But in the same breath, like, if there's going to be a lot of fun little mini adventures, I kind of want to do one before the next major, like, stupid fucking stressful arc. You know what I mean? And I would like it to be like maybe like a set of dungeon diving or just something fun to show more stuff in the world and engage people and like hint at things with the 13 apostles, and maybe have the 13 apostles or Luminaire clash with the Earthlings again. Like literally just like do more of like these guys are kind of button heads, and then I can get Vanguard in on it. Like if I ultimately what I'm saying is if I choose to rewrite it or rewrite my plans, and if I choose to allow the plan of Luminaire to fail and show how she reacts to that failure and give her more characterization for that, I think it'll do more for the story. But also it protects me because I don't particularly want to write this next section yet. I'm not ready personally, which is why, again, we haven't, like, between all the event stuff and stuff that's been happening lately IRL and with stream, and then that I just like I fucking haven't wanted to. So I think for the sake of myself and the story, it could be justified to change the direction it's going, and change the ending of volume 2. But I'm just gonna read it one more time. For those of you who don't really know what's been happening, here's a quick recap of the entirety of LXD, just to like give you a bare bones basic idea of what's happening. So in book one, Lucky crash lands into a forest mountainside outside of somebody's cabin. Their name is Jamie. So Jamie is a star adventurer for the Fool's Carol, which is a guild in the city of Aegis. Aegis is located basically right on the edge of a sea, the ocean. It's located next to a forest and then like a great open plains area. City of Aegis is extremely prosperous, and it's considered like a bastion of freedom and acceptance and all those fun things. So Lucky crash lands, Jamie finds Lucky, they have a really quick bout, but Jamie's like, something's not right here, and then essentially takes Lucky in. Lucky shapeshifts into a more acceptable form for Earth, and is kind of scared to go outside for a while, just like as a whole. Jamie basically shows patience and helps rehabilitate Lucky. Lucky decides they want to go outside. Lucky makes some friends pretty quickly at the Shrine of Calamity, which is, just think of it like the biggest religious sect essentially in this world. Calamity is a character from another series, but that doesn't matter right now. And then she makes some friends at the Fool's Carol, which is a guild that doubles as a like cafe restaurant as well as the guild hall. And then on the third floor of that location is Jamie's, like that whole place Jamie owns, but that's like his house essentially instead of his cabin. So there's that. And then we meet Team Decima, which is longtime subs of this channel. Holly, which is Ninnin's character, that's the team leader. Taiga, which is Tasso's character. Tara, which is Tara's character, and then Nept, which is Nept character. We meet them. Taiga winds up being the newest character, coming from out of city to in the city to fill a slot for a dead party member. And they wind up going to a place called the Mimic Forest, which is right to the east of Aegis. They go to Mimic Forest to clear out this alpha wolf. It's a really big, or these dire wolves, sorry. Turns out there's an alpha. They fight the alpha, they fight the dire wolves, they clean up pretty good. This quest serves as a promotion exam for Holly. So Holly's a high enough rank to have a low rank like Taiga on their team without any issues, because there is, you know, some politics and regulations there. So Jamie goes with them. Well, long story short, mimics show up and they have a big fucking battle, and Team Decima makes it out fine, we'll call it. They get beat up a bit, but they essentially, you know, eke out a victory. So now Jamie's like, oh shit, there's way more mimics than they should be, and they're way more hostile than they should be. What's going on? So that starts some stuff. Then Jamie and Lucky go on a quote-unquote date, and we're introduced to Ganyu and reintroduced to Stella. Both introduced to Stella. Ganyu and Stella are figureheads for the Marionette Mafia, which is a second guild in Aegis. Having two guilds in one city is extraordinarily rare. The Marionette Mafia was the original guild of Aegis, but after a war happened several years ago, or an invasion, the Fool's Carol kind of moved up in the world and got the seat at what's currently called the Round Table. I'm sure I'll change the name eventually, which is a coalition of guilds from across the world, which kicked out the Marionette Mafia from that and led to issues. Anyways, Ganyu is the current guild leader slash the uncle of Stella. Stella is the guild's princess, if you will, the Mafia's princess. Stella leads a double life as Anko, a super popular VTuber streamer who Jamie and Lucky watch together. Ganyu and Jamie have a little bit of have some words, and then they agree to meet each other at the Evening Tide celebration in a few days' time to essentially talk things out, or like have a conversation. Evening Tide celebration is a celebration Aegis throws every single night for their independence and victory in the invasion. So there's that. Lucky winds up still really struggling with her confidence and her magic, so she winds up seeking help from first Carol, the proprietor of the cafe side of the Fool's Carol. Doesn't go super well, so she winds up turning to Jamie at some point to help her, and Jamie helps her with some training ideas. And then Jamie and Beatrix, which are two strong adventurers, get the okay from Vladimir, their adopted vampire father, to go back to the Mimic Forest and see what the fuck is happening out there, because surprise surprise, there's not supposed to be as many mimics or as hostile as they are, and we need to address this and do a little surveying and reconnaissance and figure out what's happening. So they go out there, and Jamie finds out that there's an ennobled mimic. An ennobled being is essentially a beast or a monster that has achieved sentience, whether it be through feats, repeated feats, random events, or they're just simply endowed with so much mana that it gives them the ability to be like, oh shit, I'm not just like piloting off of need. They actually have like wants and will and shit, and they get a name and they become what they are. Well endowed, you say? Well endowed, I do say. So they do that. Beatrix and Jamie have a little spat. They're adopted siblings, essentially. Beatrix has a weird... Beatrix is like super self-conscious when it comes to Jamie, because he's always like one step ahead of her type thing. So she's got like a... what's it called? Not a confidence complex. It's where you compare yourself to somebody else and you get like more emotional over stuff they do. It doesn't matter. So then Team Decima winds up taking on a quest, because over the Sea Glass Ocean, there's been sightings of monsters attacking passenger vessels, you know, carrier vessels. All sorts of different ships are getting smashed and attacked and everything. And the Aurelia's Jewel is a fancy ship that contracts the Fool's Carol to protect them and figure out what's going on as they you know, cross to another continent, to another country. So Team Decima is the team that goes out for that. They wind up fighting the Nessies, and they wind up fighting an extra big Nessie, which turns out to be a character named Amelia, who is also part of the Shrine of Calamity, who is also part of something else. Like, they've got a lot of stuff going on with them. And Amelia takes a liking to Holly, quite the liking. Amelia's got a personality issue. she's not she has a hard time expressing herself in a normal way, and she yearns for, you know, combat and maybe a little bit of chaos, but she's got some things. So anyway, they Team Decima do that, take care of that. Amelia essentially goes, okay, I like you, I think we got something here, and then she fucks off until later. And the evening tide celebration happens, and Jamie and Ganyu kind of go back and forth a little bit, but Ganyu ultimately says that he wants his seat back at the round table, and I forgot what the thingy is called because I'm dumb and it's been a while. But they essentially do a form of pact magic, which means that they make a deal, and if the deal is broken, it results in the immediate forfeiture of their souls / gates, which allows them to make magic, which would mean they'd fucking die if either one of them breaks the pact. So the pact essentially winds up being, after a phone call, that Ganyu and Vladimir are going to pit their guilds against each other in an exhibition tournament in X amount of time, and it's going to be for the right to the seat. And Vladimir decides he wants to make a big spectacle out of it to get a bunch of money, you know, show off the power of Aegis. There's reasons for that, because he's worried about some stuff coming up, so that's why he does what he does. They wind up having a good rest of their night during the evening tide celebration as Stella and Lucky spend time together. Jamie and Ganyu have a little sparring match, and they both realize that, hey, maybe we can actually go all out against each other. That's tight. So they're both pretty happy about that. Already talked about the Nessie thing. The first criminal, we'll say, that Lucky bumps into way back when she first goes to the Fool's Carol, resurfaces trying to do similar stuff. Lucky actually takes on the criminal and wins, barely, kind of, sort of, with an assist, showing a little bit of growth after all that. So Lucky gets to get a little bit of action fucking almost at the end. Then Lucky, Holly, and Taiga all go on an adventure together just to do a survey of the Western Coliseum outside of Aegis. The point of this is that they can use Gilgamesh's Coliseum for the upcoming exhibition. So they fly out there on the wyverns. They wind up fighting the ennobled child of Slade, who is the ennobled mimic. This specific ennobled mimic is named Harmony, and Harmony doesn't agree with the teaming up that the Fool's Carol and the mimics are doing, or at least like the peace treaty they have for now, because there's been deaths on both sides, and Harmony just wants to kill all members, essentially all humans, all earthlings. So that's fun. So they have a fight. They don't kill Harmony, they essentially subdue Harmony, so they don't make problems. And then they get attacked by bomber bugs. I don't remember what the fuck I named them right now, don't worry about that. And they do that for a little bit, and then the bugs get basically clapped, one tapped by Holly, because Holly's kind of a beast with AoE stuff. And it's just basically a little slice of life type thing, and that's it. And then in the epilogue, we get to see somebody else who speaks the alien language, that is presumed to be one of the characters that Lucky is looking for, Eve, as Eve is dropping bodies trying to look for Lucky. So that's that. And then in the second book is essentially well, the important part is that the tournament is happening, and that there's a bit of shenanigans in the background. One of the introduced characters, Claude, turns out to be a 13 apostle, one of the 13 apostles. Rogden, which is one of Vladimir's most trusted adventurer and friends, who's a dwarf, also is the 13th apostle and is working as security detail for the Fool's Carol, so kind of double crossing type thing. And Claude gets assigned a mission from a character named Puck, who is one of the 13 apostles, to abduct Lucky during Jamie's fight. It's been essentially hinted at that the 13 apostles have set up this insane quest that Jamie had to go on and was almost late to his match for because of it. Jamie's exhausted by the time everything goes down, and then at the end of the tournament, after everything's finished, the Fool's Carol barely wins via the stuff that happens and kind of catches us up. That's kind of the meat and potatoes. There's obviously other stuff, there's characterizations, but that's kind of everything. You still get annoyed with Lucky a lot, even though Lucky doesn't do the meow talk anymore. Sometimes. At times. I don't know, you get annoyed with characters in general. So far. The only one you don't really give shit to that often, or like whatever, is Holly. Because Holly's already, like, in your eyes, proven their A position and the trust of the team. So, like, you don't really, I don't know, don't have as much of an issue with them. In the bug arc, you were pretty rude to them, guess because of a headache. Yeah, you were giving them shit. Okay. So, for the final chapter, let's just read this. And stars and the moon, the lightning and the storm. Dark clouds inhabited the sky over Aegis and Gilgamesh's Colosseum. Chilling winds cut through clothing of the less prepared patrons of the Aegis Royale. The arena had already unraveled itself once more before the crowd showed up. Today was the final day of matches, and their fervor was at an all-time high. Most of the fighters of the Marionette Mafia joined the crowd in the stands to watch their allies fight. The exclusion of Beatrix, Carol, and Cleo, all of the Fool's Carol's fighters, were in the stands as well. Lucky stood with Tolly at the prep station inside. I was really hoping Jamie would be here to see me fight. Tolly moved Lucky's multicolored twin tails out of the way to adjust her bodysuit. I bet. The two of you sure are close. What's this thing for again? Lucky cringed at the feeling of it on her body. You have to monitor your vitals. If you sustain a blow that could be lethal, we can remotely activate a spell to at least clot your blood or close up any holes. Fortunately, they seem to be working super well so far. Right. Well, mostly at least. They did malfunction a bit during the matches with fighters who could shapeshift or change their body size or proportions. Really didn't account for that. Polly shrugged. Lucky chuckled. Oh. Lucky walked over to the changing room and let herself inside. Okie dokie, here we go. Her body skittered. Black dress covered her body and went down to her thighs. Over it, a golden breastplate clung to her chest and back. A black and gold? It's fine for now. A satchel hung from her hips, and she stored the feather of the moon within it. Sliding on her boots, she let out a sigh of relief. Oh, almost forgot. Her body skittered once more, this time attaching a black choker with a crescent moon to her neck. She looked at her black fingernails and smiled. Gotta look good for my debut. Leaving the changing room, she made her way back to Tolly's platform. So tell me, what have you been up to? Lucky and Tolly spent the next several minutes conversing about their various happenings. Why did I write it like that? Whatever. Over at the Marionette Mafia's prep station, Stella finished getting her experimental bodysuit put on. Damn, I did Stella's fight and Jamie's fight in the same chapter. Stella, Lucky, Jamie, Ganyu. I'm a psychopath. Ganyu was talking with a Kitsune Imagineer tech while Stella made her way to the changing room. Various weapons and gear had been brought in by Ganyu for Stella. She sat down on a bench, remembering Lucky's face earlier this morning. She looked so peaceful. Hope I get to see that face again soon, Stella blushed. Oh man, I'm so cooked. She's got Jamie. How am I supposed to compete with that? Stella leaned back and looked at the ceiling, her green hair brushed against her back. Well, crying about it isn't gonna do me any good right now. Stella slapped her knees and popped up. Let's grab some balls and get going. Also, why did I write it like that? Stella walked over to a cabinet and pulled out a utility belt with pouches that shared a function similar to the fat packs adventurers use. LMAO, that's what I'm saying. Could have said like chromium balls. Oh, but she said it. That's why I wrote it like that. Stella's a fucking gremlin. Perusing the other cabinets and chests, she finally found what she was looking for. Grabbing buckets filled with chrominium balls, she dumped them into the pouches on the utility belt. Once satisfied, she meandered to a locker with clothes she picked out ahead of time. She reached into the locker and pulled out another bodysuit. Okay, I'm a troll. Her face was unimpressed. I doubt this will be particularly comfortable. The black suit had various markings and sigils inscribed on it. The chest region seemed to have some kind of pseudo breastplate with a circular indent and a yellow ring. From that central area, why did I read it like this? From that central area ran channels along the arms. Channels ran. Yeah, why the fuck? Channels ran along the arms and legs of her suits. From the aforementioned. The fuck? From the aforementioned. Is it aforementioned? Am I thinking of the right word? I may not be. Whatever. The palms and fingertips also had yellow accents. Stella slipped her leg into the suit and then on her other leg. It fit more snug than usual, thanks to the experimental suit she already had on. Once fully worn, the yellow spots on the suit lit up, like they were reacting to Stella's mana. Power coursed through Stella's circuits, and she shuddered from the thrill. Yep, it still fits perfectly. She opened and closed her fists. Ganyu shouted through the door and into the room. Stella, are you almost done in there? Coming. Once back in the prep area, Ganyu smiled at Stella. Best of luck out there, kiddo. Remember to follow your heart and fight with pride. Right. You haven't forgotten our deal, right? We'll step down after this if we win. Ganyu gave Stella a hug. I haven't forgotten, and I've been thinking. Maybe after all this is over, even if we don't win. Augustine's voice cut through the air, blasting over the prep room's TV. Alrighty then, fight fans. Today is the final day of the Aegis Royale. Crowds roar. Are we sure this is the final chapter? Okay. Crowds roar shook the building once more. Stella couldn't help but grin. Her heart fluttered with anticipation and anxiety upon hearing the crowd. Ganyu laid his hand on her shoulder, and she felt ease wash over her. The first 3 days of this tournament were something truly special. Augustine addressed the crowd. Marionette Mafia managed to pull a whopping 200-point lead over the Fool's Carol by the end of the last fight. That puts the tally to 465 and 265 respectively. Once more the crowd erupted. Lucky had already put earplugs into her ears. She eyed the monitor and felt a quiver in her gait upon seeing the crowd's reaction. Now, I've been informed that this next match is extra special. Originally, the Fool's Carol had 2 more fighters left, but their next fighter would fall here, and then it would all be over. The crowd gasped and looked around amongst themselves. Due to the point difference, even if the Fool's Carol final fighter managed to win the rest of their matches, they would still be at too great of a deficit to take it all. Therefore, if they want a shot at winning, it all comes down to this. Once more, Augustine triggered a reaction from the crowd. Without further ado, barf. Every time I have a character say this, I want to fucking vomit. Without further ado, let's introduce the first and quite possibly final fighter for the Fool's Carol. They are a new adventurer with only 2 quests under their belts, but that hasn't stopped them from becoming one of the most requested individuals. Join the illustrious maids of your favorite cafe. Her work at the Fool's Carol, the Fool's Carol's counter has said to change people's day. Dog, is English my first language? Her work at the Fool's Carol's counter has said to change people's days. Yeah, we're gonna have to change the sentence, because fuck me, man. Some claim their luck gets better, while others just feel happier when they leave. Please welcome Lucky Tempest. Tasso Barf. Do I start thinking of the streamer TM type individual? Yeah, I like, it's one of my biggest, like, I hate this word and I hate it as a concept, but it's like, when I'm watching a video on YouTube, it's an ick. Hearing without further ado makes me want to like drop my toes into one of those fucking, what are they called, clamps, you know, the big fucking forager clamps, drop my toes into that and twist until they're fucking pulverized into a mist of blood. I can't. I would rather feel my gallbladders explode again than have to deal with that. I would rather my spine get twisted 360 times in a 360 pattern than have to hear that. Genuinely, I hate that shit so much. Without further ado, I would rather, I'd so much rather. That's why, like, I don't know, it's just like transition wise. Okay, how do I explain this? It's the equivalent of when you're listening to somebody's video, right, and they're writing a script and you can tell when they did another take, not because of the volume of the come in or anything like that, but it's because they're like, so back in 1979 there was a time when, and then it would restart and be, so back in 1979, and it's like, dog, what? Even when I had editors like take my videos, I think except for like one or two, I always watched back the video and made sure there wasn't like that kind of thing. Usually I think I had like one really bad mistake one time. There's like that, and then like the without further ado thing to me is just like super lazy script writing, because there's 8 million ways you can make a transition into something. That's why I respect Flygon HG, who's a Pokemon YouTuber, a PokeTuber, because whenever they do their segues into ad bits, it's always something really like creative and funny. Same thing with ADEF too, ADEF. They both have really good segues. And then there's just like Wolfie, who you can tell is just like getting writers that I'm sure like he, not his fault, but like they probably just fucking chat GPT it at this point. And like, don't get me wrong, Wolfie makes good videos, but in the same breath, like his scripts and just like the constant stalling and then the without further ado a million laters way, I just like, that shit pisses me off. Speaking of a million ways to transition into things, here's a word from today's sponsor. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And now that I have your attention, I would like to talk about today's sponsor. It's me. I host tournaments. You should register for them. No, I was fucking with you. Yeah, well, the thing with Wolfie is like, Wolfie does a lot of the YouTuber, like the big YouTuber tech of like a random piece of misinformation, or he'll give like 50% of the fact and leave out the other part for engagement farm. Same thing with like slights at Digimon, same thing with slights at what, and it's like, okay, let me preface this whole thing. I am never going to fault a content creator for doing what they need to do to get the clicks, to get the engagement, to get people to stick around in their videos. Like, it's not your fucking fault that these fucking corpos ruined the purity, whatever the fuck you want to call it, of video making on YouTube. It's not the like, do the creators feed into it because they get rewarded for it? Yes, but it's ultimately them doing what they need to do to get fucking paid and have a job and do what they love doing, and it's the concessions they have to make because the fucking algo is so busted, because they're incentivized to do it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna fault that. Just like I'm not gonna fault somebody who has a sponsored segment on their stream, plus they have like a brand deal in their bio or their video description, plus they're running ads. Some people are like, oh, if you're running sponsors, you shouldn't have ads. Sure, but also no. You know, like you can do more with the ad money and do more events. Like, for example, Sajam took his ad money he got from some of his brand deals while leaving all this stuff on, and now he's running the Sajam Slam events because he had the fucking backing to do it, and it's done wonders for the FGC, right? And I'm like, I'm cool with that, because like, you got to do what you fucking got to do if this is your job, right? You gotta you gotta do what allows you to get seen and allows you to, you know, get the bag or whatever it is. But I'm also allowed to like point at something and be like, I fucking hate this. Just like they're allowed to also not like it and do it anyways, or not care and do it anyways. So I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. But you know, there's a reason why somebody like me, rather than choosing a male VTuber model or just choosing to use my face, even though when we did the experiment with my face, all of my metrics were consistently better than using my model. There's a reason why I just do what I want to do anyways. And, you know, I only make the concessions I'm comfortable with. You know, like I fucking enjoy some of the YouTube titles I've used? Not really. I think it's funny in like a meta way at best, you know, but I don't particularly enjoy the game. But like, do you see me making TikToks or YouTube shorts anymore unless it's something I really want to make? I mean, I make art TikToks because I enjoy it, but I'm not doing it because I'm like, let's grow the platform so I can get more viewers. Like, that doesn't make me better. In fact, it makes me a worse content creator overall. Like, it just genuinely makes me a worse content creator. But like, I don't want to do the things I don't want to do. Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, you gotta, it's be yourself. And then the asterisk, at least for me, is within the confines of what you want out of this, right? So for me, I want something very specific out of this. I've achieved what I want out of this already. Asterisk, there's also more that I do want. I would like to be able to do this as a part-time gig, if not full-time, at some point. But I don't want to have to do that and also give up certain things. Feel me? I'm willing to work for hours. I'm willing to lose sleep, but I'm not willing to do specific things. So it's just like, that's my thing. But again, I'm not gonna like have a problem with somebody else who wants to would rather put in less work and get more out of it. Like, I fucking get it. I understand. I do. I totally get it. But I'm also not gonna go out here and choose to make an entire channel and a community around me with a male VTuber model as my main model. Or male facing, sorry, VTuber model is my main model, or something that's not lucky with this, you know, as my main model, because that's not what I want representing me. I enjoy this. This is what I would like to be online and represented as. Granted, I like shapeshifting into other things, but I want to have like my base that people know me for, because I enjoy it. So that's what I'm going to do, even if I'm in quotes penalized for it. I'm not really. What's the penalization? I get death threats, hate comments, my video metrics are worse because people click on my video, they're like, oh, cute VTuber girl, and then they hear my voice and they're like, oh, you know, like, okay, and I don't care. I don't care. I did the experiment just to validate my assumption, and then I was right and I moved on. Like, we're good, it's fine. There's always a trade-off. Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate that tomorrow, if I said, fuck it, I don't give a shit, I'm gonna start all over, I have the very like base YouTuber face, right? I'm a Caucasian male with a beard, dog, and I've got blue eyes. Like, all I'd have to do is throw on a hat or do something with my hair, and I'm the template. I am the easiest template on the platform. People are like, oh, if you're a girl streamer or a girl content creator, you have it so easy. No. The easiest template is be white male with beard. That's the easiest template. That has been proven statistically time and time and time and time again. I have that and I'm choosing not to use it. Funny how that works. Anyways, enough of that. Lucky purposely nerfing themselves because they're too strong. What's fucking new? Lucky's earplugs did to soften the cheers as she stepped out into the arena. Trying to hide her surprise at the reception, she waved politely to the crowd. Rummaging around her bag, she grabbed her pen and waited patiently with a smile on her face. And coming from the western entrance, representing the Marionette Mafia, she's cleared many quests and works the counter at their main building. It's also rumored she had a hand in making their entertainment branch successful. Please welcome the heiress to the Marionette Mafia herself, Stella Brightheart. Once more the crowd cheered as Stella made her way towards the center of the ring. I didn't realize how popular Lucky was. Whoa. Stella waved at the crowd and then at Lucky. Hey girl, hey. Stella tried acting like everything was normal. Jesus, just fuck already. Stella smiled, but her tails didn't wag. Stella smiled? Oh, Lucky smiled, but her tails didn't wag. Hey Stella, I guess this is really happening. Yeah, I suppose so. Stella's smile faded when she saw Lucky's tails. Hey, after this, I think I need to tell you something. Oh? Okie dokie. You can tell me anything anytime, Stella. What's this? Augustine yelled into the mic. Looks like our two combatants not only know each other, but are good friends. It turns out this high-stakes fight is going to be the test to test the power of friendship itself. Oi! Stella scowled at Augustine. Can it you? Anyway, are the fighters ready? The girls nodded. Great. And may Calamity watch over you as you fight in his name. Begin! Augustine looked around awkwardly. Meow. What's up, Abso Capoe? Just out of curiosity, Abso, are you a fan of the Pokemon Absol? What's the Abso part? I was wondering that before, but I was scared to ask, and I'm not scared to ask right now because I'm sick. Thanks for the head pats. Perhaps. That shit's so tight. Let's go. We like Absol around here. Hope your Saturday's been well. Augustine looked around awkwardly when the usual immediate flurries of attacks and explosions didn't come to be. Instead, Lucky and Stella eyed each other up. Stella broke the silence. You know, I spent all that time with you, but I don't know what you're really capable of. It's a very long story. Yeah, my hyperfixations generally tend to be long stories as well. How much fan art of Absol do you have around your room, just out of curiosity? I think the normal amount's like 12 to 20 pages of paper. Used to play WoW and you joined a Pokemon themed guild and everyone had Pokemon names. That'll do it. Also WoW player spotted. Everybody cry for them. Pour one out for them. Same here. Lucky grinned. Let's run it. Hear me, feather of the moon, shine. Lucky's voice echoed. Her feather transformed into a short sword and shield. A faint azure magical glow illuminated the weapons. The controlled pulse of mana, Lucky's boost boots launched her towards Stella. You were a shadow priest that wore the Absolution Transmog, also white black theme, so Absol seemed like a good pick. Plus you really like the Absol. I like that. I like the dedication to the bit, even if it was accidental. You also change your name to Absolution, so you're Absolution Capoe. I've absolved you from the furry claims. You're welcome. Yeah, throat fucking hurts. Yeah, do you mind giving me 1 second? I want to see if I can find some cough drops. I thought about taking NyQuil to help. But fun fact, if I take NyQuil, I'll die and stream will be over. Yeah, let me just see if I can find some cough drops really quick, because this shit's cooking me right now. I'll be right back. Sorry. I'm back. Take your time faster is diabolical. You're kind of spitting though. Well, I know something funny. It's not really that funny. I think it's funny though. So on top of our microwave cart and microwave, we house our like our daily drugs, right? So I have to take 3 allergy medicines. I have what's it called? I got 2 I gotta take that are dailies, and then I have like a nose spray that's supposed to help with my sinuses so I don't get sinus infections as much. And then obviously at night I take my my anti-migraine stuff so I don't lose vision in my left eye, so I can keep vision and, you know, not get KO'd. Anyways, I saw a bag that looked like the cough drops, and I picked that up. I was like, score, that was easy. And then I looked at it, it was dog treats. I was like, I'm not Cam. And then I put that shit back down. And then I went to the bathroom and I was like, let's fucking go. We're gaming. I found them. Hope I'm hanging in there okay. I'm fine. It's just, you know, what is it, like every month, every other month I get sicker a little bit. It is what it is. Mildly sounds like MS. I mean, there's MS in the family, but there's your vision gets blurry when your pain gets bad. I'm sorry to hear that. That's rough. I bet that's pretty shitty. We have a running theory in this household that I have POTS, because I've gotten diagnosed with a lot of stuff that people who have POTS get misdiagnosed with, and my heart, my ticker doesn't exactly work as intended. Like when I'm sitting down or laying down, it's very normal, but whenever I'm standing up or if I'm standing for too long, it can spike as far as like heart rate goes. Even when I was like super healthy, right? It spikes. I get dizzy a lot. I have I'm diagnosed with I mean, like the classic like depression, anxiety. But as far as what's that one called where you spin all the time? Fuck. Vertigo. Yeah, thank you. I'm diagnosed with vertigo, and vertigo is like another thing people will get diagnosed with that have POTS, because I don't ever get dizzy when I'm sitting or laying down, right? Or even if I move my head really fast, like I don't get dizzy during any of that. I only get dizzy at set points of how long I've been standing. And I have like some of the other stuff that like POTS people have. So we have a running theory in this house with our lovely WebMD type beat that I might actually have POTS. And I was supposed to get testing for it because somebody else in my family has it. But between like insurance and stuff, I just haven't been able to. So that's been fun. You get that shit too. I actually get a shot for, it's funny. So for the cluster migraines that knock out my vision, I had the nightly pill, and then I also get a shot once a month that's supposed to help with vertigo, and it's supposed to help with cluster migraines. So I'm doubled up on that as well. Unfortunately, my insurance covers that, which makes no fucking sense. It does. My insurance doesn't cover my EpiPen, which can save my life, but it covers the vertigo shot. Make that make sense. That makes no fucking sense to me. Oh, and if I like, they wanted to prescribe me fucking painkillers, like the hard painkillers, and insurance was like, yeah, we'll fully cover that, no problem. What? The fuck you mean by that? Whatever, I can't, it's fine. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I have like my meds up there, so I thought the cough drops would be there. So when I saw a bag that looked like it, I was like, oh, cough drops. But yeah, no. Anyhow, good times. Where was I? Let's start from here. Augustine looked around awkwardly when the usual immediate flurries of attacks and explosions didn't come to be. Instead, Lucky and Stella eyed each other up. Stella broke the silence. You know, I've spent all that time with you, but I don't know what you're really capable of. Same here, Lucky grinned. Let's run it. Hear me feather the moon shine. Lucky's voice echoed. Her feather transformed into a short sword and shield. A faint azure magical glow illuminated the weapons. With a controlled pulse of mana, Lucky's boost boots launched her towards Stella. In response, Stella grabbed 2 balls from her belt pouch. Her amber eyes lit up as her magical circuits came alive with energy. A jolt to her body lifted her chest and threw her back. Quickly recovering, Stella dumped mana into the chrominium balls, causing them to become charged. Just as Lucky rotated her blade to strike Stella with the dull side, Stella punched towards the blade. The chrominium ball formed a sphere of electrified mana around Stella's fist. Fists. Skaroom! Lucky's blade never reached Stella's hand, as it was repulsed by the lightning fist. Ripped from her grip, it flew several meters away from Lucky, disappearing once it got too far. Meow, 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 meow. Absol was your favorite until recently. Let me guess, it's now Gardevoir. I'm joking, obviously. Shine. Lucky's voice echoed once more. This time a dense wooden bat appeared in her right hand. The shield became wood as well. Unfazed, Stella pressed on with her attack. Does she think I can't blow wood up away too? Stella swung for Lucky's weapon with Stella swung for the Lucky's weapon once more, aiming to disarm her. Lucky spun around to the side, avoiding the attack before countering with a thrusting motion. Catching on quickly, Stella adjusted her form and threw her straight at the incoming weapon. I've been meaning to ask, for the people that have been around for a while and have like kind of read and or heard me read my fight scenes, do we feel like the fight scenes that I do are like how do we feel about them? I'm not going to give multiple choice. I guess let's just leave it at how do we feel about them. I think that's probably fine. You really like dark Pokemon and cat Pokemon? If you say Incineroar, I'm gonna hit you with a suplex. That monster needs to be put in a cage. Okay, cool. We're chilling. You hate Incineroar? I feel like most Pokemon players do. At least competitive ones. Very recently? Is that not very recent? That feels very recent. I guess it's not. Damn, I'm getting old. Shine! Grinning, Lucky gave her boots another boost. The wooden bat's entire form changed into something similar to a wooden sculpt massager. With a sudden change in Lucky's momentum and the weapon of choice, Stella's punch whooshed through the air. Pain surged through her as the ends of the strange device jammed into her cheek, forehead, shoulders, chest, and abdomen. Ack! Stella found herself being blown back 5 meters. Good overall. You can go in depth, but you need to be asked about a specific scene, and you need to ask very nicely in DM. I see. Meowscarda, I'm guessing. You don't really have a very informed opinion since there's not really fighting in a lot of what you read. That's fair. That's totally fair. Because like, I guess the question comes up because I've been doing some focused reading on sections and books I've read before, so I know where stuff is, just to see like how authors handle stuff. And I've been noticing that a good majority of fantasy writers will not do much with their fight scenes. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because like for me, for example, there's usually not always some characterization shown in the fight scenes and feelings and stuff, whereas like a lot of writers, they'll like show stuff about the character and they'll like do world building really quick with it, but like the fight scenes are usually very short. Like we're talking 2 to maybe 7 paragraphs at most. And I found that really interesting because it makes me feel like, hey, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But then I found some authors that also do it similarly to me, but they're usually like fan art people and whatnot. Yeah, Hobbit Lord of the Ring doesn't focus much on fighting. You remember the Bilbo versus spider scenes, like a stab. Yeah, they're quick. They're quick. Even in like the Aragon series, which has a lot of fighting, just like Lords of the Ring does. The fight scenes are very like compact, they're quick, and they're just kind of over. And while I obviously have other stuff, it's not just all fight scenes. I feel like my fight scenes also, you know, have some meat to them. And I don't know if that's like a comfort thing where I'm very comfortable writing these, or if it's like an interest thing for readers. I mean, I'm not going to change the way I do it. I was just interested to see what people said. Different isn't always wrong though. Do it feels right to you? I definitely agree there. You're super right, Nia. Have a good rest of the stream. Yeah, thank you for being here, Nimadj. Have a good night. Get some rest. By the way, that Monzaemon art with the why does bitch mad? That shit made me giggle so hard. Obviously you didn't say that exactly, but that that meme always makes me giggle. I love the fighting game ones where it's like Testament and Ram, and then Ram just posted up growling and the fucking streetlights behind them. I don't know if you were specifically referencing that, but I'm pretty sure it was. I love that shit so much. I was feeling inspired, but I didn't have time to do anything with that inspiration, unfortunately. It's now on my list. Anyway, have a good night. Thank you for being here. Okay. Slapped her in some spots. Ack. Stella found herself being blown backwards over 5 meters. Did you see that? Augustine called out to the excitable crowd. What kind of shape-shifting weapon is Lucky using? It's not that impressive, Taiga grumbled. Nept smirked. Aw, aren't we a little jealous? Taiga blushed. No, I just think it's lame she used my stance and tried copying Broadfeather's movements on the opening strike. Ollie chuckled. If anything, you should be honored that Lucky tried to replicate your technique, even if only for a moment. I guess between the quest we went on and your fight, you made an impression. Taiga watches Lucky narrowly dodge a strike from Stella. Shine. The odd weapon and shield turned into a bola. Lucky let the projectiles spin around her as she gauged Stella's movements. So far, she's only been attacking in combinations of up to 3 strikes. It seems like whatever she's doing requires a quick cooldown period. Lucky slammed her lead foot on the ground, pump faking forward momentum. Gotcha. Stella's estimate of Lucky's presumed trajectory was spot on. She began unleashing a wild left uppercut. Stella's bewildered expression and Lucky's smug grin couldn't contrast each other more as Lucky floated backwards mid-bola tossed. Tossed? Jesus Christ. Tossed. How did she change direction so fast? She didn't even use her boost boots. Stella locked her abs and glutes, freezing her attack. Then with a precise charge of mana, she let the chrominium balls in her hands go. They floated in place a decent bit apart. A chain of lightning coursed between them. Lucky's bola ricocheted off the floating trap that Stella left in the air. With Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, they focus more on atmosphere than combat, you think? Like Bilbo's always sneaking around an area, noticing when things could go wrong or noticing how creepy the area is. True. Bilbo's like feeling the fucking aura of a scene or an area before it gets to them, and they're like, okay, which check am I gonna need to do to get out of this? Lucky's pen appeared in her hand once more. Whoa, that's so cool. Her eyes sparkled. Stella, you're amazing. I didn't know you could do that. Stella blushed and covered her mouth. You still got a lot to learn. It's just like fighting against you in City Scrapper 6. You keep spamming attacks and all I have to do is let you walk into your own defeat. Alright. Lucky's tone was flat and her ears airplaned. I'm gonna kick your ass now. Stella gave Lucky a taunting wave. Okay, if you say so. Don't disappoint me now. They both danced around the arena for several minutes, weaving attacks and talking smack. The energy was so infectious that the crowd began chanting their names. Amelia picked at her teeth in the stands. Is it just me, or are those two flirting? I think they just don't want to hurt each other, Anya sighed. It's like two wyverns pretending they're whelps by play fighting. Chizu tapped Henya's arm. Chizu think it looks like fun. Well, it is fun to watch. Bud's body shivered as sweat poured from his pores. You think the big difference between Western and Eastern writing is stamina, power levels, and durability? In the West, stuff dies really fast. At the East, there's more durability and things last longer. Might be good to see how light novels handle it. You have a feeling it's closer to your style. Yeah, so a lot of like the indie LNs that I've read are more similar to this, yeah. I think that's a pretty good assessment, in my opinion. Some of them don't, though. But there's a good bit that do. Fun fact. I don't think I've ever talked about this before, but when I'm writing most of my scenes, I don't envision them as text. I first envision them as like audio, like visual audio. So for example, I'll picture like a motion comic or a motion manga with VA work, even if it is just my own voice in my head, or I'll picture it out as like a short movie scene as I'm writing it or before I write it. And the reason I do that is because it allows me to decide how the part would break down in manga format and how it would translate to a physical medium versus the written medium. Because like a written medium is just like, it is what it is, you know? But if I ever want to like translate anything that I write into a physical medium, I need to be ready to do that. So I pretty much always visualize and hear it first and go from there. I think we've talked about my imagination in the past and the stuff that I used to just like do for funsies with it. That's really never gone away. That's just how I write essentially when I'm doing that kind of thing. Claude's body shivered as sweat poured from his pores. Today's the day. I can't mess this up. He studied Lucky's movements carefully. You okay? You don't look so good. Chizu leaned into Claude's field of vision. Yeah, I'm alright. I think I ate something rotten this morning though. I'll be back. Chizu went to stand up. Chizu will come with you. No, it's okay. I want you to fill me in when I get back. Besides, I just need the men's room. He gave her a pained smile. Okay. Chizu looked back at the fight. See you soon. Lucky came to a full stop. Her face reflected the green hue of Stella's lightning. Across the entire arena, Stella's chromanium balls were floating at various heights, with her lightning coursing between them. Lucky tried to remember if she saw Stella drop any since the first two. I didn't realize she was dropping them this whole time. I guess I just assumed that they would have been electrified from the moment she let them go. I'm sorry, Lucky, but I wanted to end this fast so we can go back to having fun. I wanted you to think I had to charge the balls and set them up with the lightning from the start, Stella admitted. Ow, excuse me, sorry. That was weird. Lucky's eyes scanned for anywhere she could stand without getting hit. I see. Stella dramatically raised her pointer finger. Green spark shot wildly from the tip. The balls are inert, Gohan. You're so right. Just as Stella placed her finger on a ball near her. Just as Stella placed her finger on the ball nearest her, Lucky's voice echoed once more. Shine. A pole pushed off the ground and extended upwards towards the sky. Holding on for dear life, Lucky's hair whipped around her, occasionally blocking her line of sight on Stella. One moment she could see Stella standing by her special net of lightning. The next, Stella was gone. Huh? Where did she go? Lucky's eyes widened as she felt Stella's gate roar with magical might right behind her. Oh shit. Stella's gate swelled and her voice reverberated in Lucky's eardrums. Thunderclap javelin. Crow. Drawing her hand way back behind her head, an emerald spear of lightning formed. With all of her might, she chucked it at Lucky's back. On colliding with Lucky's spine, the resounding boom managed to stun her senses. Convulsing for a second, Lucky began to freefall. I can't breathe. Before she could slow her breathing and adjust her mana, her body went stiff as a board. Stella panicked upon seeing Lucky spin towards the ground. What have I done? Unlike Lucky, Stella's innate magic and suit allowed her to safely descend. She flew towards Lucky, grabbing her in her arms before returning to the ground. Stella released the magic in the chromanium balls. She could feel Lucky's body begin to relax. Stella gently set her on the ground and took a few steps back. I'm begging you, please don't get up. Lucky couldn't tell if she was saying that for Lucky's sake or her own. I've been bailed out and taken care of by so many people, Lucky groaned. Stella seemed confused. Huh? Everyone's always there to cheer me on or lend a helping hand. Every day at work, at home, with you, and even on the quests I went on. I always fell short. And now... Lucky looked to the stands where she had spotted some of her comrades from the Fool's Carol earlier. She bit her cheek until it bled, but the pain helped center her as she rose to her feet. As she struggled to her feet. Can't lose here. This time they need me. They need me to pull through. This time I'm the last line of defense. I'm the helping hand. I can't let everyone down. Lucky's determined expression made Stella's heart flutter. Stella hesitated, but brought her pointer finger close to the chrominium ball once more. Please, Lucky, let's just call it here. Her half-hearted tone wasn't enough to stop Lucky from approaching her. Closing her eyes, Stella activated the web of lightning once more. This time Lucky wasn't able to dodge. Her eyes burned with obsession. Her face was expressionless as she plowed through line after line of lightning. Her clothing took damage, revealing streaks of red on her skin. In some places the lightning had actually seared some of her flesh. Stella took a step back and shook her head. Please. Fully acclimated to the shocking assault that she had endured, Lucky blitzed Stella. Unable to react, Stella's liver was met with a nasty hook, causing her to double over. Lucky drilled the back of her head with a fanciful spinning heel drop powered by her boost boots. I fucking love boost boots. I don't like it's not just saying it, like boost boots, it feels fun to say, but just like their design and how they work is so fun to me. Like what a fun little piece of equipment. Gotta be my favorite shit of all time. Maybe not of all time, but I love that shit. Augustine leaned over his floating jumbotron to get a better look at the action. What a turn of events, fight fans. Moments ago Lucky seemed to be out of this fight, and now she's managed to pull a nasty reversal. Stella's lungs were breathless as she bounced off the arena floor. Ugh. Lucky didn't waste any time, mounting Stella's back and wrapping her legs around Stella's throat, choking her out. Stella clawed at Lucky's thighs and calves, desperately trying to break free. Tap on my leg 3 times if you want to forfeit, Lucky shouted. Stella responded by holding onto Lucky's legs with all of her might. A surge of mana erupted from Stella's gate and sent a sphere of green green lightning in every direction. Lucky couldn't escape, so she tried to squeeze oh my god, fuck me. Managed to pull a nasty. A good nasty reversal. Every time I read nasty with a G in front of it, I'm just like, hey, I don't know why. I'm such a child. It's like, it's not anytime, because like humans, I feel like are more inclined to shorten words. Like instead of saying okay, we say okay, right? But when I see like Jover, which is J in front of over, or like nasty but with a G in front of it, that shit makes me giggle because there's no actual useful application to spelling it like that. We're just doing that to be a little goober, and that shit makes me just feel glee in my soul. You want to die when you hear Jover? I think you need some enjoyment for life infused in your body. I think we need to get those old bones out of that hot ass house and let you relax and be happy a little bit. Jover was like the best thing we came up with for that entire year. I'm sorry to say, because it just like started out of nowhere and everybody just was saying it, and it was so good. And now it's so Jover. Nar. Same thing with Nar. Like you would just say no, but Nar is like 1 to 2 extra letters. It's so dumb. I love it. Anywho. Lucky couldn't escape, so she tried to squeeze Stella's neck harder, but the lightning wouldn't let up. Can't feel my body anymore. Lucky's eyes started to roll into the back of her head. Blood ran down her lip from her nose and her cheeks from her eyes. Just a little more. Lucky grit her teeth and grabbed the front of her ankle, yanking it towards her with all of her might. With all of her might, putting even more pressure on Stella's neck. Lucky's grip faltered for a moment as Stella began to lift them into the air. Her ability to fly continued to be a thorn in Lucky's side. Lucky put her free hand on the back of Stella's head. Her pointer finger and thumb stuck out like a gun. Rushing mana from her gate to her fingertips, she watched as a black ball of energy formed. Halo? Lucky's voice echoed through the arena as she readied her penultimate attack. Images of the time she'd spent with Stella flashed through her head. Ganyu's words replayed in her mind over and over again. I have to win this. Lucky's eyes teared up. I have to repay everyone, but Lucky closed her eyes and released her hold on Stella, dropping onto her back. She let the energy dissipate from her finger. I can't do it. Covering her face with her forearm, Lucky bawled. Muffled sounds from Augustine in the crowd reached her senses. To her surprise, they seemed to be losing their minds. Everything is spinning. What are they on about? Lucky sat upright, but remained on her bum. Two people in medical uniforms got in her face and picked her up to drop her on a gurney. Damn, I let everyone down. I'm sorry. Lucky cried as they hauled her off to the medical bay. Once there, they placed her into a bed and hooked her up to various machines. A few globs of slime were applied to her wounds. Someone had turned on the TV to listen to Augustine. Good night, Nia. Enjoy being horizontal. Thanks for coming in. Thank you for being here. Have a good night, and I'll yap at you soon. Ish. TM, I guess. Hi, Astra. How's it going, honey? Sparks flew during that grueling match. To think that a good old-fashioned technique that you or I can learn was what sealed the deal. Let's take a look at the updated score. Patrons were hollering with joy as the scoreboard chimed to update again. Bulls Carol 335, the Marionette Mafia 465. They chanted, "One more match, one more match, one more match." Lucky raised an eyebrow and tapped Iliud, who was seeing to her. What do they mean, one more match? I lost, right? He smiled and gently moved her arm so he could finish setting her up. Nope, Stella was actually unconscious shortly after she let that terrifying blast of lightning rip from her body. Huh? How? She was zapping me the entire time. Lucky looked at her legs. They twitched. Iliad shook his head. You didn't feel her let go? Kids are out? Hell yeah. Sleepy children's. That's dope. Don't you remember dropping from the air after she started levitating? She was limp at that point. Lucky leaned back. I didn't notice. I couldn't feel a thing. She started to cry again. I'm so glad I didn't use that spell. Lucky wiped her face with the back of her hands. Me too. Ganyu's voice made Lucky jump. Saw you using that technique of Jamie's. Thank you for reconsidering. Probably would have killed her. Ganyu sat down next to Lucky. Killed? Lucky looked down at her hands. Ganyu gave Lucky head pats. Yeah, but you didn't. And what's more is you were willing to give up so Stella didn't have to get hurt anymore. I'll never forget this. Thank you, Lucky. Is she okay? Wait a minute, shouldn't you be with her? Lucky scowled. She's fine. After a bit of preliminary testing, she's showing no signs of brain damage or major injuries. You, on the other hand, Ganyu looked Lucky over and Lucky pulled up her blanket. Good lord. Ganyu looked Lucky over and Lucky pulled her blanket up more. You need to rest, Ganyu sighed. Ella wanted to come right over here, but she agreed to relax if I came in her place. I see. Lucky was grinning from ear to ear. Can I have a watermelon juice, please? Ganyu laughed and got up. Sure, little Neko. Hang tight for a minute. As Ganyu left, Taiga, Nept, Holly, Tara, and Carol burst through the door. They all talked over each other as they asked Lucky questions and congratulated her. At first, Lucky covered her ears, but after a few moments she smiled and bathed in the glory from her hospital bed. I finally did it. I was able to pay everyone back. Joining in on the excited conversation, Lucky didn't notice the strange but familiar Mana lurking just outside around the corner. That really should just be its own chapter, huh? Like, genuinely. Did I just, like, forget to add a chapter? Like, is that what happened here? Fuck. What the hell? Must have. Placeholder. Right. All the expectations. Jesus. Yeah, this is like, we're already at like 30 pages. Get the fuck out. Oh, this is also like, the text is really big. Okay. It'll be less. Trust. How many words is this section? What the fuck? God damn, we're gonna be here all night. I'm just gonna put a placeholder chapter here because fuck me. Am I right? Chapter 17. Good lord. Release me, you foul creature. Heart. I could do the Heart of Aegis, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll just use that as a placeholder. It's fine. Vladimir looked at his conversation log with Jamie and sighed. That son of mine is really cutting it close. Hope he actually shows up. Rogden slid Vladimir a blood pack. No sense worrying about it now. Besides, Jamie always pulls through, doesn't he? Aye. But I expected him to be home no later than 3 days ago. I would have sent a search party, but those I trust to send are preoccupied. His phone clicked as he locked it and pocketed it. Well, there ain't nothing I can say to a worried father's heart. Rogden walked towards the door. I'd like to go visit some of the stands before this event is over. Want to come with me? No, thank you, Rogden. Maybe before I leave for the day if you're still willing. Aye, just say the word. Rogden took his leave. You're coming out and need help for a minute? Okie dokie. Vladimir let out a deep sigh as he unscrewed the cap on his blood bag. I wish you would not hide. We aren't children trying to avoid being caught by our parents. Red's giggle came from behind a window curtain. She slipped out from its cover half naked. But it's so much more fun this way. Anyway, where'd you put my bottle, Vlad? It's right here. Vladimir reached into his suit jacket and produced an expensive looking liquor. Perfect. I'm gonna need that for the upcoming matches. Red rushed over to grab it. Will even last you through the introductions? His voice was coy. Red's side-eye was dangerous. Will even last you? Red mocked Vladimir's with a babyish voice. Red mocked Vladimir with a babyish voice. Worry about yourself and drink up. Vladimir looked at the packet with a distraught expression. I am not even the slightest bit peckish. Red put down the bottle and smiled deviously. Swinging her leg over Vladimir, she grabbed the blood packet from him. As she sat on his lap and put some in her mouth, she pressed her lips to his and let the blood flow into his mouth. There, she wiped her lip. Quit your bitchin'. Red dismounted and waltzed over to the counter and grabbed her cloak and pants. After dressing herself, she winked at Vladimir. I'll catch you later. I've got some good seats and I don't want to miss what's next. Right. Thank you. Vladimir sat alone in the room for a few minutes before getting up and leaving. Fuck. The chatter in the stadium was at an all-time high. People were excited to see what the last set of matches would bring. Lucky watched from the safety of the medical bay. Company had left, but Stella had taken their place. You were really cool, Lucky beamed at Stella. Stella could feel the warmth spreading across her ears, so she covered them. And you were pretty awesome yourself, Stella smiled. Lucky scooted closer to the edge of the bed, closer to Stella. Yeah, we did good. Oh look, Augustine's on screen. Augustine stood proudly on his Jumbotron. Hope you're comfortable, fight fans. Because this next series of matches will be a gauntlet. As it stands, the Fool's Carol has only one fighter left, that being the one and only Jamie Jamison. He is the only recorded Phoenix-ranked adventurer in Aegis, and all of the Central Continent. The council requested that his matches be fought in succession with no breaks. What? That's crazy. Lucky winced as she shot up. Stella helped Lucky lay back down. Yeah, that seems pretty unfair. Augustine's voice droned on. So, lead off this gauntlet. We have the first of 3 fighters from the Marionette Mafia. His existence is something of an enigma. From what information we could gather, he spends most of his days in the cellar of the Marionette Mafia. When he does come out, he manages to make an impact. Every quest he's taken has been cleared with flying colors. In the west entrance, please welcome Zipper. You know what's really funny about this part? The Marionette Mafia left out the part where Zipper doesn't take on high level quests. It's usually just like chore level quests and maybe the occasional combat quest as a fill. The Zipper is a bum. Not that he's weak, it's just a bum. A malnourished looking man with pale skin stepped out into the light of the arena. His uneven horns, scaly tail, and wings drew some questionable stares from the audience. Lazily rubbing his belly, he opened one eye, revealing its pink glare. His experimental body was hardly visible underneath his hoodie and sweatshorts. For some reason, he elected to not wear any shoes. And from the east side, a man who needs no introduction. It's time for the Heart of Aegis, Jamie Jamieson. Hi, beautiful. Yeah, I will. I'll be right back. Oh, I don't have to. I thought you needed help with something. Huh? Or here? Doesn't look like one, I don't think. Big. Sorry. If it itches, you know what you should do. Oh, yeah, that works too. Yeah. I want to say scratch it with a spoon. Don't do that. Thunderous roar erupted from the crowd, but no one appeared from the entrance. Their cries of elation quickly fell to perplexed murmurs. Maybe he didn't hear me. Please welcome Jamie Jamieson. Augustine waved his arms towards the entrance and made a ridiculous pose. Oh no, my live stream died. My chat box for the live stream died. Because... was what? Sparkle? Light? I don't know why it keeps doing that. There we go, back. Okay. Looking worriedly to Vladimir, he mouthed, "Where is he?" Vladimir vanished and reappeared beside... I love you. Beside Augustine. May I? By all means, boss. Augustine handed Vladimir the mic. Hello, everyone. Vladimir addressed the crowd. Jamie was sent on a very important mission many days ago. However, that doesn't give him the right to be late. As per the tournament rules that the council has recommended, I will be allowing Jamie 3 minutes to arrive and make himself known. The 3 minutes runs dry and he hasn't made an appearance. He will be disqualified and the victory will go to Zipper of the Marionette Mafia. Vladimir sighed and handed the microphone back to Augustine. The crowd booed and some even shouted that they wanted to see Jamie fight. I understand your worries, but we still have... Augustine looked at Vladimir. He held up his fingers. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Let us be patient and see what happens. He was on a quest. There's no way an extra 3 minutes will make a difference. Yeah, this is a waste of my money. I got tickets just to see Jamie fight. You can tell who the tourists are, Stella grumbled. Lucky nodded and looked at her phone. Jamie, where are you? Everyone's surprised, a rather tall man walked out of the eastern entrance. He wore a top hat and a monocle. His cane was fancy, but he lacked any meaningful facial features. I might change this. I don't know if I want him to have a relation to a goober. In fact, his face seemed to be white as baked clay. Is that Slade? Vladimir stood up from his seat on his jumbotron. Only 50 seconds remain, fight fans. Now, this mysterious individual has waltzed right onto the battlefield. Slade raised his right arm into the air. In his hand, he held a strange device with a phoenix-shaped button on it. Click! The device folded in on itself, and Slade bowed before taking his leave back to the Fool's Carol prep area. People stood up to try to get a closer look at the strange actions Slade performed. 30 seconds, Augustine called out. The device had disappeared, and in its place a small crack formed in the air. Fractures of mana split from the epicenter in every direction. 20 seconds. Augustine was pouring with sweat. The fracture grew in size, revealing parts of a swirling nebula. 10 seconds. A horrifying warbling sound caused everyone to cover their ears as space shattered completely, revealing a wormhole. 5 seconds. Dirt and dust flew frantically around the wormhole. 4. A shadowy figure approached the mouth of the portal. 3. Something massive was right behind it. 2. A shoe poked through the portal, revealing that whoever was on the other side was wearing dress pants. Why is there a quote here? Don't mind that. Don't mind. Whoa, gamer. Augustine was practically eating his microphone as he screamed into it. 1. Jamie stepped through the portal. He looked terrible, but a grin sprawled across his mug. His right hand was the last thing to leave the wormhole as he pulled something massive from the other side. After taking a few more steps, the audience could see that he had been yanking on some kind of massive chain. It was attached to a makeshift sleigh of sorts. Magical propulsion devices were slapped on it haphazardly. Screams of fear and awe came from the onlookers as the contents of the sleigh came into view. Gargantuan teeth, scales, even some monstrous heads were piled up on the transport device. Dragons? Augustine screeched. Folks, it seems Jamie has been sent to a dungeon has returned with highly sought-after materials. Jamie sighed and dropped the chain, rubbing his wrist. His eyes had dark circles underneath them. His green hair was disheveled. Bruises and burns covered his body, as did gashes in his suit. Vladimir jumped down to his son. Don't you worry me like that again. He hugged Jamie. Don Gravy cleared his throat and jumped over to Augustine's Jumbotron. Pausing it to dip before auto-correcting. I did him so dirty there. Microphone. He held out his hand. Augustine handed Don Gravy the microphone. Sure. As an independent representative of the council, I am hereby calling for a 30-minute recess. Enjoy the accommodations while you wait. Orin and Gaianim shot each other a look that said, of all people, why would he do that? I'm not going to question his intentions right now. Vladimir grabbed Jamie and led him to the medical bay. Someone clean all this up, please. Vladimir shouted as he pointed to the monster's remains. In the medical bay, Stella helped Lucky sit up so she could properly greet Jamie upon his arrival. Lucky stared at the door, her tail smacked the bed and nearby medical equipment as they swished excitedly. Take a deep breath. Stella sat next to Lucky on the edge of her bed. Thanks, babe. It's gonna be here any minute. Nodding vigorously, Lucky inhaled quickly, holding... This is nightclub. Yep, thank you. Wincing, Lucky adjusted her posture. Oh, as she watched the door slide open, wincing, Lucky adjusted her posture so she could get a better look. Jamie, Lucky shouted upon seeing his seaweed-colored hair. Jamie's face lit up, but it quickly turned sour. Why are you in the medical bay? Are you okay? Sippy sip. Fine. Ugh, thanks for the soap. Shit got ass though. Pouting, Lucky folded her arms. Oh, hey Lucky, it's nice to see you too, she said in a mocking tone. I had my ass beat, why else would I be here? Jamie's expression softened and his shoulders relaxed. It is really good to see you. I thought about you the whole time I was gone. Lucky looked down at her blanket and blushed. Stella looked away. I can't believe I'm getting annoyed right now. Jealousy is not a good look for me. Stella sighed and pulled out her phone. Lucky looked back at Jamie. Well, why didn't you text back or give any of us a call to let you know you were okay? Oh, that? Hold on. Jamie held up a finger and rummaged around in his pockets. Once finished, he produced broken bits of electronics in both hands. Sorry about that. I quite literally couldn't. Vladimir couldn't wait anymore. What the hell happened? Jamie took a seat on the bed next to Lucky's. Iliad came over to give him a checkup. Honestly, now probably isn't the best time to get into it. I'd like to get everything written out and submit it properly if that's okay, Pops. Vladimir raised an eyebrow. That's strange coming from you, but I'll respect it. At least explain why Slade had your only portal. He had it as insurance that we meant it when we said we'd do right by them and their kin. I wasn't expecting them to be so willing to port me back here if I didn't make it in time. But again, a story for another time. Jamie pulled away from Iliad as Iliad brushed up against his ribs. Jamie, this is... Jamie cut it off. Yeah, I got roughed up. I'm fine though. I fought with worse. Iliad snagged his wrist and gave him a cold look. Do not move. Jamie could feel Iliad's mana mixing with his own. What are you doing? Shh. Iliad pressed his finger to his lips. Jamie felt his blood turn cold and then hot. His eyes grew heavier, but he remained conscious. It felt like Iliad's mana was probing him, searching for something. Finally, after another minute or so, Iliad released Jamie from his grasp. You're going to want to get some of your staff who have been keeping Terra topped up in here. Jamie's gait isn't healthy, and he needs an infusion I cannot provide. Vladimir pulled out his phone and texted rapidly. As a doctor, I cannot recommend you fight in the Aegis Royale, but I know how you can be, so let's just deal with the immediate problems and get you back out there. Try and take a nap while we work on you. Jamie nodded and looked at Lucky. She seemed like she wanted to say something, but she remained silent. As soon as his head dropped into the pillow, he dozed off. His fingers twitched, and painful expressions flashed across his face. Lucky reached over and gently placed her hand on his forearm, soothing his restless sleep. It wasn't long before Lucky joined him in slumber. As the intermission drew to a close, Jamie found his way to the prep area. Hey there, Tolly, Jamie grinned. Hey, Jamie, thanks again for everything. She looked him up and down, frowning. Are you okay? Everyone keeps asking me that. I'll be fine. Thanks for the asking, though. Thanks for... I'm concerned, though. Where's the changing room at? Ollie pointed to the side. What? You should put this on. He held out the experimental bodysuit. Can't, Jamie said plainly. Ollie cocked her head. What? If I wear that thing, they'll probably wind up calling the match. Just say it tore or something, I don't know. Jamie shrugged and made his way to the changing room. Taking a look around, he lazily passed over most of the gear and items. This is such a pain. I just want to go home and watch some Anka with Lucky and then go to bed. Jamie yawned, stumbling into a nearby locker. I think I felt more awake before the nap. At least the extra juice those guys gave me should hold. Did I shut the cam off? No, it's on. Why, what's up? At least the extra juice those guys gave me should hold for a bit. Jamie noticed a rather large package on a nearby table. Okay, thank you. For Jamie. The tag had Vladimir's handwriting. Smiling, Jamie carefully unsealed the package. Inside was a new dark blue suit, 2 chrominium rods, and a key with the number 313 on it. After he finished changing into the fresh clothes, he made his way over to locker 313. Lock made a satisfying click when he inserted the key into it. He paused for a bit, savoring the moment. Opening the locker, he felt a strange vibe from within, something he couldn't quite put a finger on. To his surprise, the only thing held within was a katana. A chain hung from the fushi kashiri. It was wrapped around the saya and talisman. Jamie's frown gave away his thoughts on the present, but he reached for it regardless. After pulling it out, he first examined the talisman. Seems like it's for sealing entities. Kinda hard to tell though. It's definitely not from this area? Dude, I'm so cooked. It is definitely not from this area. Seems like it is for... Okay. He spun the weapon around, inspecting it. An envelope dropped from the locker. Jamie bent over to pick it up. Carefully opening the envelope, he pulled out the letter and began reading it. My son, I'm sure you're already privy to this, but it's time I tell you the truth about who you are and where you came from. Jamie quickly closed the letter and shoved it back in the envelope. Pops, you should already know I don't need to know anything other than who raised me. Jamie went to throw the letter away, but hesitated. Can't just throw it away if Pops wanted me to have it. He sighed again before reopening the letter. As you know, I found you washed ashore from the sea glass itself, with nothing more than a small raft to carry you. The sword was the only thing you had in your possession. I believe that you're real. Jamie threw the letter in the air. It caught wind and harmlessly floated to the ground. Maybe I'm just not ready. Yet again, Jamie put the letter back in the envelope. Another time then. He placed it carefully in the box and went to find himself a waist harness for his new weapon. A knock on the door caused him to spin around. He walked over to the door, attaching the weapon to his harness. Shk. The door slid open. Tolly stood there awkwardly. Sorry to bother you, but they called for the fighters to enter the center of the ring. Alrighty then. Thank you, Tolly. Jamie grinned at her one last time before walking past her. Oh, and Tali? Yeah? Would not be passed? Am I tripping? I'm glad that you and Chuck are doing well. I'm proud of what you two are doing for yourselves and Aegis. He gave her a thumbs up. Jamie stepped into the light of the sun. It was a ferocious heat that Aegis hadn't felt in what felt like what seemed like forever. I was cooked when writing this, huh? The ground shook as the crowd erupted from his presence. Jamie easily tuned them out. His focus was on Zipper and Zipper alone. You could tell Augustine was talking about something, but he just couldn't quite make it out. An eerie calm befell him. He was in the zone. Zipper nodded. Jamie raised an eyebrow at Zipper in return. What are you nodding for? Augustine asked if we were good to go. Zipper rubbed his belly. Oh, yeah. I'm all set, Jamie said. Augustine yelled into his microphone. And for the final set of matches on the final day, may Calamity watch over you as you fight in his name. Begin. Zipper wasted no time in getting to the action. A disgusting blob of green acid hurled from his mouth towards Jamie. Like all foes before him, shock took hold as Jamie disappeared from view and reappeared behind him, jamming the tip of his elbow towards the base of Zipper's head. Jamie aimed to finish this fight quickly. He still had more matches after all. Zipper pounced from the ground and flew up high into the air. Ganyu said you were fast, but he didn't mention you were that quick. He stayed what felt like a safe distance in the air away from Jamie. Jamie sighed and pulled his weapon from its harness. Zipper readied themselves for another attack, but Jamie simply sat down, cross-legged on the arena ground, leaning the weapon against his shoulder. Zipper waved his arms around. What are you doing? Jamie yawned. I don't feel like chasing someone around. I don't feel that chasing someone like you around is worth my time right now. I'll just wait until you do something stupid. Jamie closed his eyes. Oh wow, fight fans. Jamie has blatantly disrespected Zipper, and it looks like he's even gonna take a nap. A vein on Zipper's forehead threatened to burst through his skin. I'll have you know that... Jamie appeared in front of Zipper and dug the tip of his sayo into Zipper's throat, quickly following the surprise attack up with a spinning kick to the jaw. Zipper shot towards the crowd, causing Terra's shields to go up. But before Zipper had a chance to collide, Jamie appeared again, dropping his heel on Zipper's back, spiking him into the ground below. Jamie popped back into view next to Zipper. He used his foot to roll him over. Zipper seemed to be choking, so Jamie bent over and fished around at his mouth for the piece of debris that was blocking his airway. Gross. Jamie tossed the rock to the side. Augustine got the go-ahead to call the fight as the medical team rushed out to treat Zipper. Jamie appeared at the center of the ring and sat down once more, closing his eyes. Augustine, he said sleepily. Yeah? After you introduce the next fighter, just assume I'm set to fight. Jamie mumbled and dozed off. Augustine looked at the council with a worried expression. Should we continue? Don Gravy, Ignis, and Vladimir all gave Augustine a thumbs up. Gaia, Nim, and Oren, however, gave a thumbs down. Oren looked frustrated, but accepted the results all the same. Gaia, Nim seemed perplexed by Vladimir's decision more than anything. With the council giving us their blessing, we will proceed to the next match. Augustine addressed the crowd. Up next is the second fighter belonging to the Marionette Mafia's gauntlet. Admittedly, our knowledge on this new adventurer is quite limited. Ganyu and Henya both vouch for her capabilities. Please welcome Emma Silverhand. The crowd's reaction was oddly dull, but that was to be expected with an unknown fighter. And of course, Jamie was still asleep. Augustine paused for a moment. I know he said to go ahead, but is he really going to be okay? Jamie's head leaned peacefully against his newly acquired breaker. Watching from the safety of the medical room, Lucky gripped Stella's arm as she watched Emma walk out into the arena. Something seems off about her. Familiar, but off. Emma's crimson twin tails flowed behind her as she proudly marched onward. Blue ribbons held her hair in place, matching blue accents were scattered across her uniform. In each hand, she held peculiar, oversized pistols. Didn't seem to have anywhere to insert ammunition into their muzzles. Damn. They didn't seem to have anywhere to insert ammunition into. And their muzzles were flat and rectangular. Is this my target? Mama looked up to Augustine. He's asleep. Disappointment dripped from her words. Augustine lowered the mic. Target? He's your opponent for this match, yes. I see. I'm ready to begin. Emma got into a fighting stance. I'm ready to proceed. Both fighters are ready to begin. May Calamity watch over you as you fight in his name. Begin. People leaned forward with worried expressions as Emma walked towards Jamie. Lightly snoring, he was completely unaware of the danger fast approaching him. Come on, Jamie, get up, Lucky yelled at the TV, causing Iliad to jump. Stella placed her gentle hand on Lucky's shoulder. I know you're worried, but people are trying to rest in here. Biting her cheek, Lucky nodded and stared a hole. A hold? How about a hole? A hole sounds nice. Stared a hole into the TV. Never seen him like this. Usually he's tired, but he never takes cat naps in the midst of battle. Stella patted Lucky's head and offered her a spot to lay back down on. How about you just rest up for now? Stella asked. Lucky looked at Stella's thighs. Sure, but I'm not going to sleep. That's fine, just relax, Stella said plainly. An explosion caught their attention once more. Emma had fired off some kind of pulse round or shockwave for one of her pistols, but she missed her mark. Jamie was no longer there. Instead, he appeared behind her. Emma smiled, all within expectations. Suddenly, Jamie was standing where Emma had been, and Emma took Jamie's place behind him. Hardly having time to register what was going on, Jamie was blasted forward into the side wall of the arena by Emma's pistols. Bringing desync with me was the right call. Taking her eyes off Jamie, she looked down at the beryllium breakers. Father's master craftsmanship always pulls through. What are you looking at? Jamie's voice reached her ears as his fist collided with the bottom of her chin. Emma's feet lifted off the ground from the force of Jamie's attack. Before she could retort, he jumped up and spun forward, dropping his heel onto the top of her head, causing her to land face first into the ground. A nasty follow-up stomp came centimeters from her noggin, but once again the fighters switched places. Crack! The impact sounded sickening as Emma's foot drove into the back of Jamie's head. Pissed, Jamie lifted her foot upwards, using the strength of his neck to raise his head. Words came from his mouth, but she couldn't quite understand them. What was that? She asked. Jamie appeared behind her once more, and her foot fell forward. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Fell forward, throwing her off balance. I tire of you. Tyrant's gaze. Have fun at your friend's house, Chip. Enjoy your time. Do some fun stuff. Eat some good food. Raid their fridge for me, because I'm hungry. Jamie's amber eyes gave off a sickening glow. Heavy, Emma fell to her knees, and she could hear various sounds from the crowd as people passed out and others got sick. Even Augustine was puking from the safety of a shielded jumbotron. Emma tried swapping places with Jamie, but her eyes widened when she remained on the ground. What did you do? I don't particularly like this technique, but I've allowed my mana to run rampant. No restrictions. Anyone in the area who lacks the required skill or power to fend it off goes through, well, this. Jamie looked around. Von Gravy seemed uncomfortable in his seat, but the other council members remained poised. Some of the fighters that had already had their bouts were affected at first, but quickly figured it out. While some of the others, like the twin Diamond Kronf twins, reacted negatively, puking, having muscle spasms, and other unpleasant side effects. Emma's blue eyes began to glow. The air around her grew thinner. I will not fall for some cheap parlor chick. Emma shot into the ground, sending her careening into the air. Her voice echoed through the arena. Arena? Yeah, boy, let's go. One born to flesh, another born to steel. In a universe as vast as it is cruel, a father found, and a devil and a deal. Witness our greatest strength, twin stars. Emma's eyes turned silver as she floated back down to the ring, her feet floating just barely above the surface. Vladimir sat up in his chair. She can redress? My boy, be careful. A gasp of relief overcame the crowd as Jamie's tyrant's gaze released its hold on them. With blistering speed, Emma closed the distance between herself and Jamie. For the average onlooker, it appeared as though she had teleported. For those with more trained For those with a more trained eye, they could see that her mana was interacting with air around her, allowing her to slip around at great speeds in unconventional ways. Jamie managed to deflect the gun pointed at him into a different direction, and Shockwave screamed towards the crowd, but Tara managed to barely shield it in time. Opting to keep the shields up instead of only raising them when needed, Tara signaled to the personnel helping them. Nice. I'm gonna need a constant supply of mana. I hate to admit it, but these two are too fast for me to pop my barrier as needed. I just need to keep them up for the whole fight. Tara winced as a volley of shockwaves crashed into her shields. Jamie and Emma darted around the supersized arena, parrying each other's strikes, each other's attacks, and letting massive blasts of energy fly. Can't tell if he's speeding up or just adapting to my movements. Let's try attack pattern config number 2. It'll tell me what I need to know. Emma began incorporating various attacks from awkward angles into her rhythm, and occasionally she would swap places with Jamie in an effort to confuse and throw his own rhythm off. Blow for blow, he matched her adjustments and sprinkled in some of his own. Jamie pulled on his sword handle, unsheathing the gifted blade, revealing its dark chrominium color. Various sigils were inscribed onto the blade, but it didn't seem to do anything special. However, Jamie used it much like he would have used his trusty baton. Channel his own mana through it and attack. Cleaving through the shockwave, it dissipated behind him harmlessly. Well, damn. I know I could have done that. I would have done it. I would have a lot sooner. I would have a lot sooner. Yeah. Fine. Grinning from ear to ear, he taunted Emma. Well. It looks like your increase of speed just won't be enough. Clearly. Wish you hadn't forced my hand, but my sister, I need your help, Anna. Her voice doubled over. Two people were speaking. The crowd oohed and awed as a semi-transparent body split from Emma. It looked exactly like her, except it still had what was previously her blue eyes. This is the true strength of the twin stars. When I fight with my sister, chances of success are 100%. Anna floated next to Emma, silent and expressionless. I've fought clones before, and entire groups of people. Is this all? Emma held her pistol to Anna's head, and she pulled the trigger. Except when the shockwave was supposed to hit Anna, it collided with Jamie instead. Did you see that fight, fans? Emma can switch Anna's place with someone else. No, that's not quite right. Jamie's head banged as he collided with the walls once more. Blood trickled from his burst eardrum. A smile had been permanently etched onto his face. They're good. Really good. God, you gave me the best present I could ask for. Finally, I can let loose a little. Jamie disappeared from view and reappeared next to Anna. This time, his position was swapped with Emma's, putting the sisters next to each other again. However, as he went to move, they once again swapped spots, putting Jamie beside Emma. What the fuck? Kabloom. Man, I love this fight so much. It's so dumb. Emma's ability set's so fun. What the fuck? Jamie disappeared, avoiding the blast. After reappearing a safe distance away from the two, he grunted as he realized that Anna positioned herself in front of the shockwave. Right before swapping, Jamie lifted his sword and began to cut the air in front of him. Anticipating the swap, he took Anna's place and cut through the shockwave. Without stopping, he continued cleaving at the air. Swap after swap, he managed to splice the shockwaves. Augustine's heart raced as he tried to keep up with the fight. I've never seen anything like this fight, fans. I've watched as warriors raced around the arena and adapted to their enemies, but this is ridiculous. I can hardly comprehend what I'm seeing. Vladimir signaled to Tara. Tara gave a slight opening in the barrier between Augustine and Vladimir. Once wide enough, Vladimir jumped over to Augustine's Jumbotron. Tara closed up the gaps in the barrier once more. Allow me. Vladimir extended his hand. Augustine gulped. But sir, this is what you're paying me for. Vladimir shook his head. Need not worry. If skilled adventurers are struggling to keep up, I cannot expect a civilian to do so. You're right. I'm sorry. Please take over for me. Augustine reluctantly handed over the microphone. By the time Vladimir took the mic and began commentating, a new problem had reared its head. No longer were the fighters content with their high speed bout of shockwaves and swapping. No. Now deadly spikes of ice, pillars of flame, and other elemental attacks flung haphazardly across the arena. Jamie had grown used to the position swapping and started incorporating what seemed like wild directionless attacks into his movements, but they kept specific lanes of escapes or swaps in check, allowing him to close the distance little by little. Gotcha. Jamie launched a volley of icicles towards Enna, and another set slightly slower towards Emma. Even with their newfound incredible speed, it would be impossible to dodge. Jamie pointed his finger and began charging mana into his fingertip. Forcefully ripped from his location, he found himself in Enna's place, icicles screeching towards him. With an enthusiastic look, his voice echoed through the arena. Halo trigger! He swapped once more back to his original spot to take the brunt of his own special attack. He pushed even more mana into his follow-up. Halo trigger! Pointed his attack towards Emma. The blast screeched from his finger and quickly was on pace with the previous attack. Emma looked worriedly at her sister. She's too far from me, I can't fuse with her again. I'll take this blast and swap her with him one last time. Emma blinked as she swapped Jamie with Enna. When her eyes reopened, she watched in horror as Jamie appeared in front of Enna, and after the swap, he was behind her. Wait, no. The sisters were met with simultaneous knockouts from Jamie's signature spell. Jamie appeared behind each of them in quick succession to grab them before they collided with the arena walls. Once more, he disappeared and reappeared in the center of the ring, gently laying the sisters next to each other. As the medics ran out, Enna phased away from reality, and her mana flowed back into Emma. An eruption from the crowd made it hard for Emma to hear Jamie, but she could see his bleached face. Be proud. You are the pinnacle of strength. Jamie stepped aside so that personnel could do their job. A few medics looked him over and offered him some food and drink while he waited. Dried blood was plastered on his chin from his ears, and he could feel that all the work Iliad had done to patch him up had been undone. My body's screaming at me, but I haven't felt this good in a long time. Every fiber of Jamie's being was vibrating with excitement. Ganyu's next. He really did wait for me. Jamie looked expectantly at the western entrance. Augustine began to get the crowd ready for the final fight, but Jamie's voice boomed through the air. Ganyu Brightheart, Guild Master of the Fool's Carol, I've waited for this moment for too long. Come and face me. Jamie gasped for air and grabbed at his ribs. His vision blurred, but he never took his eyes from the entrance. Like a psychopath. One step. A single step is all it took for the air to instantly change within the arena. Ganyu's presence was immediate and demanding of attention. Glowing eyes of amber peered from the shadows of the entrance before Ganyu emerged in the ring. Unlike any of the ones that came before them, a roar from the crowd so mighty it was rumored to be heard from ages. A roar from the crowd so mighty that it was rumored to be heard from ages shook the ring. With each step Ganyu took, Jamie's heart quickened. The swift and deliberate mind of Aegis's finest devolved into one singular thought. Finally. As Ganyu reached the center of the ring, he fastened knuckle dusters to his hands. Jamie basked in the moment, good lord. Feeling of his mana and Ganyu simply fighting for space was exhilarating. Sweat dripped from his cheek and fell through the air, slowly making its way towards the ground. Augustine watched as Vladimir said nothing. The crowd silenced and lasered in on the two fighters. Everyone held their breath, imagining the kind of fight they would see next. Jamie leaned his head back and took a deep breath. Dropping his gaze to Ganyu once more, he drew his sword. Don't let me down, Ganyu Brightheart. Ganyu smiled. I wouldn't dream of it, Jamie Jamison. As if calamity willed it themselves, the two fighters lunged at each other without a word from Augustine or Vladimir. Clang. Jamie's blade met Ganyu's aura-infused chrominium knuckles. Quick exchange between them ended with a stream of lightning erupting from Ganyu's fist. The bolt blasted into one of Terra's tiles in their barrier, exploding it on impact. Jamie wasn't the only one to be shocked by this. Lucky, Team Decima, and Vladimir all bore panicked expressions upon witnessing the raw destructive power that Ganyu displayed. Terra's barrier went back up, but the ensuing onslaught left Terra pouring mana out like they never had to before. It's not safe here, Terra yelled over the clapping booms of lightning. Can't hold this for long, we might need to evacuate. I said your name? Yeah, because you're dead and we're doing your funeral. Sorry. Jamie disappeared and reappeared erratically around the arena. Ganyu's eyes flashed over and over as they rapidly snapped to Jamie's location time and time again. I was right about you. Jamie's voice came from multiple directions as he popped in and out of existence. You can glimpse into the future. Jamie's grin was maddening. Ganyu's fist narrowly missed Jamie. That's right. My all sight allows me to feel and see all threats to my well-being ahead of time. I'm not surprised you figured it out. Jamie's spinning kick was aptly blocked by Ganyu's forearm. All that means is I need to be stronger and faster than what you can handle. You talk a lot. Ganyu's counterhook flew harmlessly through the air. You're exhausted. How long do you think you can keep slipping in and out of time like that? Oh, so you knew. Jamie reappeared several meters away. Yeah, it's odd. I just step into this white and black world and then come back. Gaslighting in the Big 25 is crazy though. I'm not gaslighting, I'm being legit. Ganyu looked at Jamie with furrowed eyebrows. You don't even know what it is or how it works? Jamie shrugged. I know that I can't attack, move, or do anything to people or things while I'm in that world. And you've yet to understand the true nature of your abilities. Ganyu pressed Jamie. His fingers brushed against Jamie's collar. Jamie slipped away once more, popping in quite a ways away. His voice overlapped 16 times as he seemed to be circling Ganyu from different points around the arena. Halo trigger! Jamie had released multiple blasts in near unison. Ganyu crossed his arms over his chest, then opened them wide. A sphere of blue lightning similar to Stella's emergency defense spawned from his gate all around him. A terrible noise emitted from the collision of spells. People covered their ears, but Jamie brought his blade down into the field of lightning. I can slice through null magic, then surely I can cut through these sparks in my way. His blade began slicing through the field, but he miscalculated just how much mana Ganyu dumped into his defenses. The cut wasn't big enough, and Jamie got caught in its painful embrace. He could feel Ganyu's palm drive cleanly into his solar plexus. Jamie dropped his sword and was sent backwards. All that separates man and Aeon be gone. Terminus. Ganyu's voice reverberated. A blue chain formed between Ganyu and Jamie, pulling Jamie back towards Ganyu. What the heck is this? Jamie grabbed at the chain. It felt warm and gave off a similar energy to his mana, and Ganyu's. I've spent years perfecting my ultimate technique. Anyone chained to me is unable to utilize their magic, call upon their gate for mana. It goes for me too. Ganyu removed his knuckle dusters. I wasn't gifted like my brother or my niece. I didn't inherit the family technique, but I'd like to think that because of this, I was granted something greater through my own efforts. Ganyu stared at Jamie. You are a hard worker yourself, and with your natural gifts, you could surpass anyone in due time, but it's too early for you to surpass me. Ganyu wrapped his finger around the chain and gave it a tug. Jamie flew forward. His face was introduced to Ganyu's fist. We'll finish this match with our own hands and hearts, Jamie. Ganyu kneed Jamie in the nose, instantly breaking it. Rocked, Jamie stumbled backwards a few steps, but quickly raised his fist. I know that look. Vladimir sighed. He's enjoying this. Beatrix watched from the meeting hall on the 3rd floor with Carol and Chloe. I haven't seen that look in forever. Beatrix's voice was a mixture of pain and joy. Go get him, Jamie. Go get him, brother. Bro's fine. Ganyu's eyes remained normal as Jamie weaved his left straight. A nasty liver shot connected, but Ganyu tensed up perfectly, softening the blow with his dense muscles. Jamie's combination attack caught Ganyu off guard, but he managed to mitigate any serious damage by moving forward to reduce the momentum of his strikes. Ganyu clinched Jamie and delivered a nasty knee to his midsection. Precise knee to his midsection. Somehow, Jamie managed to get his hooks into Ganyu and flipped him over his head with a suplex. The boys brawled for a full 3 minutes, exchanging blows that would cripple the average person for life. Bruised and battered, they began to huff and puff. Without mana to strengthen their bodies or reduce the damage, a toll was being tallied and it needed to be paid. Blood obscured Jamie's right eye as it rushed from a cut on his eyebrow. I had a great time, Jamie panted. Ganyu nodded. Me too. I'm sorry it had to come to an end so soon. Final tug on the chain, Ganyu ripped Jamie towards him and put Jamie in a flying guillotine. Jamie pulled at Ganyu's grip, couldn't get his fingers into the right position. His neck and spine agonized as his vision blurred. I can't lose. Jamie could hear the muffled cries of the crowd, but all he could feel was his body getting heavier and more foreign. Images of a woman and a man flashed through his brain. Hainme? Why am I thinking about Hainme? Jamie felt an ominous, nostalgic feeling. Wait, no. Not that. Not now. Burning up, his veins and circuits raged with mana once again. The chain between him and Ganyu severed. Wait, are you a... Ganyu pulled back and looked at Jamie's eyes in disbelief. Jamie's pupils narrowed and the roots of his hair began to turn red. A phoenix? Ganyu quickly raised his hand into the air and called out to Augustine. I forfeit. Hurriedly, he grabbed Jamie, hugging him. Calm down, Jamie, it's over. There are too many eyes here for you to lose yourself. Ganyu's words reached Jamie. He could feel his body calm once more. His veins felt icy compared to the fiery sensation that crept over him moments before. Thank you, Ganyu. I appreciate you for stopping me. Jamie felt his consciousness fading until it all went black. Just as Augustine was about to announce the winner, Stella hobbled from the eastern entrance from the help of Ollie. Somebody help, they took Lucky. Decisions. I mean, okay. I'm not as far as I thought. Let's do the foot. Chapter, was it 19? Gosh, pretty crazy, gamer. So like I had heard so bad. That took way longer to get through than I thought I was going to. So there's a few things. This is what we're gonna do with this chapter. This chapter is going to be Claude versus Medical Bay. That doesn't go there. We gotta do Claude versus Medical Bay slash Lucky. We do that. We do Urgency and 2 Aegis Royale into Strike Team to get Lucky slash find Claude. Lila spotted Claude heading spotted Claude and Lucky and followed. They were heading into, forgot the name of the dungeon. A dungeon. Did I wind up naming it? The first dungeon. I could have sworn I named it. I don't know what I named it though. Damn. 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 Okay. When you forget stuff because it's been a minute and because you're forgetful anyways. Okay. Did I not name it in locations? Like, for real? Be so honest with me right now. Jamie's cabin, Trying to Calamity. It would have been, it would have been not Baldy's Stables, not the Trying to Calamity. Did I straight up not write? Wait, the village is missing too. What the fuck? Huh? Wait. The village is missing too. Sentry Village? Because it was by Sentry Village. So where is it? I could have sworn I named it something. Fuck. Assault from the dungeon. That doesn't help me at all. I do something to make up for my performance in the dungeon. That's the case. I want anyone getting in or out. That dungeon could do your full report. The next 72 hours, I want all of you to hold off on reporting what happened in that dungeon. Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes dungeons have reality warping shit. Dungeon entrance. Dungeon. Yeah, they say the calamity tends to dungeon. This dungeon will be full of magical beasts. Traps. Dungeon entrance is wide. Dungeon ground, dungeon barrier. I didn't fucking name it afterwards or during it. Well, that's lame. Dungeon entrance planned in the side of the hill. That fuck. I don't love this. Makeshift party eyed what appeared to be the new dungeon's entrance from the safety of the cabin. Beatrix looked around and noticed there were several cabins scattered. Probably could always have this one. Always forget how strange Sentry Village is. Why is everything spread out so much? Yeah. Any order I must be obeyed. Sentry. I mean, Sentry Dungeon would be a safe name. Sentry Hill. I probably had a cool name for it because I swore I came up with a name for it. Tell me where they found this dungeon. Won't be necessary. Sent there, blah, blah, blah. Chuck came here to tell us about a dungeon. The fuck? I must really just like hate myself because I don't take good enough notes, I guess. We're heading into the dungeon. Okay. Well, I guess I'm naming it now. What the fuck? Hillside Dungeon. It's a placeholder. It's fine. So they have to go back to the dungeon. Okay. Neat trick. Cool, 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 cool. It already sent people in different directions. Closest team to the dungeon. Sent strike teams to get and Claude. Sent north. Sent east. Sent west. Nobody would have been really sent south. Sent north because north is more dangerous. West is less dangerous. Middling. The north would be Carol, Leo, and Beatrix. Carol, Anya, Leo, and Beatrix. Sent east. Decima. West. I gotta add somebody to there. Decima. Amelia. Rogden. Oh man, that's so fucked up. That's funny. I'm on Anna or down and out. I need to go back and check something. Zipper's down and out. Stella's not able to do shit. Percy's up. Yuna could technically be up. Most of that team is fucked. Red's good. Karma's fucked. Chizu's up. Yeah. Okay, I got this. Team Decima. Chizu needs to go. Hold on. Chizu. Mila Rogden. Ganyu. Red. We need Ganyu basically out of the picture. And then it would be Yuna, Hanya. Hanya wouldn't go north. It's fine. Hanya has to be out of the picture too. Ganyu's team is not gonna make it probably until later. Cleo, Carol, Cheesy up, Chizu, Claude, Hanya. Man, oh man. Gonna be rough. We could do one more. Gretel. Do I want to send Gretel or do I want to send Malia? Probably Gretel, right? Kind of a liability at this point though. It's fine. This will work. This will work pretty good. So the goal for this is to have... This is sent west, sent east. First responders. Sent north. Second responders. West. Hella late. Party. So what's gonna happen is there's gonna be an all-out brawl in the dungeon. So there's going to be All out brawl and dungeon. We're probably gonna have to do 2 more chapters to avoid having it end with Jamie being taken. I think. All out brawl and dungeon. Jamie comes shortly after second wave of Ella comes with Ish, the second wave of allies. Bogdan and Amelia are called out by the other team apostles to aid them. Make a choice, TM. Team Decima's probably gonna wind up fighting the one, and we're gonna have some new apostles show face here. Cool. Very nice. Eve breaks fold. Eve breaks fold. The end. Pausing. Luminaires plan to fail. Eve dies.exe. Not yet. We can keep her current body. Okay. I hate to do this because I actually wanted to do some writing, but I feel much better now that we got this shit fixed. Because I was dreading having Jamie being taken already and the stuff that was gonna happen. So this will fix that and allow us to like proceed in a way that's sensical. Amelia woke up crying. Oh, poor baby. Let's do this. My brain is on fire. Yeah, my brain is on fire. Like, I'm gonna call stream here, but I would like to, after stream, just really quickly, it's probably a bad idea, but just like really quickly do some combo practice, and maybe a few ranked matches. So I'll be in Discord and call for a little bit. You have to step away for a second though. I'll just be hanging out there for a little bit, not super long, because I would like to watch TV with Astra, and I would really like to go to bed because I don't feel the best. But yeah, that's the plan. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I appreciate all of you being here. I know these late night lucky streams, people seem to like them, and that's hype. Thank you very much, because I get to do 2 of my favorite things simultaneously, and that's always a really good time. But yeah, I'm gonna call the stream portion here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and tomorrow is Sunday. We've got the what's it called? It's Sunday. We've got the Digimon TCG tournament, LDCC. I'm super looking forward to that, so hope you guys get to come out for that and say hi. Have a good night. Okay, bye. Hi, baby.
Thank you so much for raiding on in.
What's up? Yeah. Are we watching our show tonight or no?
It's going great. How you doing? What were you doing today on stream?
Okay.
Watch it.
Just over here playing Rumble like usual.
If I want to watch it, I gotta come back now.
Just riding. Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
What if
Some creative brain juices.
I wanted to get in Guilty Gear practice, but I can do that tomorrow, right?
We're over here just grinding away in the main quest.
True.
Here in Rumble, I'm doing a really annoying Datamon fights that has a really stupid drop rate for one thing. I've been fighting him for like an hour now. For the one thing. It's stupid.